he did it randomly. No, no, no. We gotta do selective genocide or something.
Okay. I see. I You remember how last time we said like, oh, I'll just randomly start recording, and starting the episode. So you started talking about this stuff, and then
No.
I started, and then it was right after you said, oh, maybe Thanos was right, and I didn't think it would. I thought it would stay the same energy, but then I feel like the first few words are crazy, so much so that when it gets uploaded to YouTube, they're gonna have the extended
They're gonna be so lost. You know what? I don't know where you want to cut it, but if you want to leave part of that in, like just half of it, totally fine. Have them be lost.
Yo, this is perfect. So,
Have them be fucking lost.
the viewers know we are currently live with the, I don't
Hey,
even know
what's
what
up, guys? I
episode.
went on a huge rant. I don't know how much of it you'll see, but goodness me, G Garley, G Willikers. Let me tell you, I went off. And you might be wondering, Sai, what context? Selective genocide. Is he getting racist? No. Let me tell you right now, it had nothing to do with race or sex. Par can confirm it was not a racist take whatsoever. It was.
No. The thing is, as blasphemous as it sounds, I agree.
Par agrees. See, all you
They
need to
don't.
hear. If you think Sai is off the wall, he's going crazy right now. What could he potentially say that would justify those words? Just know that Par agrees, and it isn't racist or sexist in the slightest. It had no race or gender tied to it. But let me just say, Thanos was right. Thanos was right.
Yo, this is the perfect start.
G Willikers.
I need to
Do Hickey
know.
McGee.
I need to know what could the people that know. Someone came into my stream earlier today, so I had a stream for my main channel,
Yeah.
and they said, yo, this part is so different from the one that talks to Sai. And because like what I for the voice of all things, those streams, like how the vibe, like learning about people, all that stuff. And I was just
Yeah.
like, in my head, I was just like laughing so hard about like the disparity, because that was earlier today, and then here we are in the opening.
It's night and day. You're like Kent, Clark Kent and Superman, two very different people.
Oh God, it's
I mean,
too
that's the same for
crazy.
me too.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Hey, there's multiple meanings behind the name, the 50/50
Yeah,
podcast. We're half.
it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We are the 50-50. You're getting the other 50 right now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then when we're together, we end up like flip-flopping. You know what I mean? It's like an
yeah,
orbit, that kind of a thing. I don't even know what episode number we're on, but hey guys, welcome to the latest episode of
yeah.
the
I don't know what episode number this is either. I think it's like 27,
something like that. Let's just
something like that. It's
pad
it's somewhere in the
numbers.
20s or 50s, around there.
Exactly. We're beyond successful. Million subs already. 100%. Joe
Yeah.
Rogan, watch out.
I drove into the studio with my Lamborghini.
As
Actually,
our
no. I had a Lamborghini transport my Lamborghini. Yeah, there we go. Let's just go with that,
as our
right?
backgrounds maintain. It'd be crazy if
What?
we were doing that, but we green screen like AI our backgrounds to stay the same forever. It looks super scuffed, and
That'll be
like
so cool. Just stay
no one knew.
humble.
No one knows the wiser. But then we're just like
Yeah.
sitting
I
there
like
like
I like to
that.
imagine we're just normal dudes. We're not rich whatsoever. We're just actual dudes with like a little apartment.
Hey, I mean,
Hey, it's humble living. That's all that matters.
there's always
That's all you
like
need.
those people who I want to ask you this. Actually, this is a good
What's up?
topic. But there's always like those people who you see on TV or whatever in some context, and you feel like they're rich, but then when you like Google it, or like when you really know, you're like,
It's like 500,000 in debt.
yeah, you're just like, they're not actually doing that well. I wonder what happened. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they're paying like a stupid mortgage. What the hell is he? What is he doing?
Yeah, and so the thing that I want to ask you, which I think has gone a little viral in the last few days,
Okay,
actually,
what's up?
um, is the best platform to get paid on. And we're content creators. We're on platforms. We know
Yeah.
what do you think is the best platform to be a content creator? In
Um,
monetizing wise, monetizing.
monetizing wise, I'd say YouTube. It's
YouTube.
definitely not TikTok.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
It's definitely not TikTok. It's definitely okay. Wait. Do sponsors count? Because if sponsors count, then I think Instagram would be pretty high up there because like they have like models and stuff like, oh, here's Budweiser, here's
I'm
$10 million,
I'm talking specifically just the platform.
like ad revenue.
Yeah, like the from the platform, like the
Shoot,
platform
I don't know.
supporting.
I don't do that research. I just kind of do my thing on YouTube. I guess I'd throw in a buck for YouTube.
So hey, I'm with you, right? I'm with you, but
Yeah. Oh no, it's not YouTube, is it?
there was an interview. So I forget the people's names. I mean, it's H3, so Ethan was talking to
Yeah.
some like one of those like Logan Paul-esque kind of dudes that was like in the like the boxing whatever thing, right?
Yeah. Is it
Um
Kick?
I don't no, it's not Kick. Yo, I
Okay.
got a message from Kick a long time ago
Did you really?
to yeah, to sign on. I don't know if
Oh,
it,
stream
but it was
porn on
like
there.
from
Yeah.
the real like thing. So I was like, is this real? And I never I never responded, but there's some recent news. I was like, huh, maybe I should get back to that email. But they were like, it was basically like, yo, we would love you and your content to come onto our thing, and we like
You could be the first
support.
One Piece YouTuber on Kick.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking
That'd be
about it. Which
hilarious.
I'll get back to in a second. But the apparently the
Yeah.
most cracked social media
I gotta know.
platform for content is Snapchat.
What? Still? Wait, okay, okay. I understand when it was at the peak, but people don't still use Snapchat, right?
So the guy was basically saying that everything on Snapchat is monetized. So like the stories you can put like so David Dobrik is
No,
still on
you know what?
Snapchat and he's
I don't
making
believe it.
more money than he's making on YouTube. And I was like,
Wait,
"No, that's
Okay, okay.
crazy."
Are we talking about like his just random like Snapchat stories, like, oh, here's a cheeseburger,
Yes,
bought this
yes.
at like just something random like that?
It's Snapchat stories. You can have like videos and then you can have shows. And so everything is monetized, and the way
That's
it works is like
cursed.
as you click there's like ads in between, and apparently it's super direct, and Snapchat has a really good they have essentially like a like a Webkins crypto thing going on where you
Yeah.
as a creator you get crystals, and those crystals
Oh,
you
I've seen
convert to
that.
money. And I was
I've
like,
okay, I know what you're talking about. So that's the highest paying?
apparently,
What?
so you know,
No.
when I saw that I was like, yo, let me become a One Piece Snapchatter real quick.
No, that's so cursed. I don't know, like maybe it's just like my perception of it, but Snapchat is something I used back in like high school.
Mhm.
Like that got popular around like when I was like a freaking senior, junior in high school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then a little bit in college, and then that was it. Like I stopped using Snapchat altogether like I think 4 years ago.
I
I feel like
still
it'd be so
use
strange to go
I
back.
use Snapchat, but just for like my friends. That's all.
Yeah.
Like all of my friends across like the location gaps, wherever. Somehow, most of my core friends, they all just like, yeah, we'll use Snapchat, right? And then we just like
Dang,
keep up.
okay.
So it's like this convenient thing that just ended up staying. But I used to I back when it was like peak, is like you'd go onto like the right side of Snapchat where it was like the
Yeah.
news or like
Like
whatever
the
you think.
sponsored shit.
Yeah, and I never touched that, but apparently it's popping right now, and I'm like, what? Absolutely, that's
Maybe
honestly disgusting.
fuck, maybe I wouldn't say we because you still use it, but I was like, maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe
No,
that's it.
I mean,
Maybe I just phased out of TikTok or not TikTok, Snapchat.
I
Maybe
mean,
that's
like,
it.
I've always thought this about Snapchat, where I think Snapchat had a really good thing going because, you know, like right now, I don't know if you've seen, like, I mean, we talked about the TikTok Congress stuff, a
Yeah.
few episodes. Was it last episode? Yeah, I think it was last
Yeah,
episode.
last episode.
Um, and people were saying like, there was like a trend saying this is why the U.S. wants to ban TikTok, and it was this example of if you Google France on Instagram, then you get like all the fancy luxury stuff and like food, and it's like all these like procured photos, but then you type in France on TikTok and it's literally France is being burned down to the ground because Macron just forced through essentially a bill that reforms pensions. So instead of retiring at 62, he unilaterally raised the age to 64. And that, you know, it sounds like a small thing, but that's a like on a macro level, that's huge, right? You just expanded
Yeah.
the working force uh, by 2 years unilaterally, no conversations essentially. And so TikTok's been highlighting that, and they were saying like that's the main difference. And something for me with Snapchat was super cool because they were the first people that did Snap Maps, and Snap Maps was like back, I forget when it was, but like there was
So
all
you
these
used to stalk people
protests.
back in the day.
Well, that aside, right? Like
Yeah.
you hear about protests in like China or Turkey or Israel, whatever, and like the news doesn't send you stuff. You could literally go to your Snap Map, go to that part of the world, and then see what people are posting on Snapchat and see if it's real or not, right? And so like, you know, when there was like an earthquake thing that was being undersold in the media, like for whatever reason, and then you go on Snapchat, you zoom in onto that part, and you can see the actual like ramifications of a protest, like first person view, because people are like in the things snapping it. And I thought that was really cool, and I wish that they hyped on that more. It still exists, but it's like one of the smaller things. But now apparently they're on the whole like they have essentially like their version of TikTok Blue on Snapchat, and if you're on that, you're getting paid like like Bezos bucks. Like actually, it's
Yeah.
insane the number that the like whether the dude is lying. I because Ethan Klein, he doesn't essentially like the guy that he was talking to, but he still was like, "Yo, I've been hearing about this same thing within the industry. All these people that are just staying on there." And I'm like, "Yo, why? I don't know a single person that uses
Why are
that
they
side of
doing
TikTok
this?
or Snapchat. Yeah, it's so crazy, so crazy."
That's weird. Yeah, no, like back in the day, dude, you only use Snapchat if you're trying to send like a, a PP pic, or you're receiving some booty shots. But nowadays, I guess that's where the money's at. Damn.
I think like Snapchat is still kind of good as like because Instagram try to do the same thing where you can send photos that like delete
That
themselves,
disappear,
yeah,
yeah.
disappear. I think Snapchat's an okay thing for like, you know, when if you're like dating or something, you're in the dating
Yeah.
world and then you don't want to give someone your number. It's like, you know, you could get like IG is your person, you like, right, you're already, but then Snapchat's kind of like this adjacent thing that you could just like delete somebody or whatever, and then the entire thing is Snapchat's like a temporal kind of like communication means. I think like even that,
Unless you save the image.
yeah, which is, you know, but and they alert you. They were the first, I think, media social platform that was able to do that. But I think Snapchat just they hit a wall. I forget what exactly it was, and then they just never recovered. And it was such an easy recovery. They just kept on fumbling with like stupid updates that just meant nothing to everybody else. So
Yeah.
it's the way of the world.
Dang, that pays the most. That's
Yeah,
kind of shocking.
yeah. I heard that and I instantly uploaded a few Snapchats there,
Oh
snaps
my god.
from my IG reels. I was just like, boo doo doo, and then
Let me put this on Snapchat real quick.
yeah, that has no views because I have no idea how people view that stuff. And like there's hashtags, and I just like maybe there's nobody watching
Man,
One Piece stuff here.
I went on Snapchat. I think not even like on purpose. I think I just clicked on the app the other day,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Yo, like this is decrepit." Like all of the people I had added, like they just don't post. I'm like, yeah, I think everybody just kind of grew out of it. I didn't think people
yeah.
still used it, to be honest.
I don't know
Like
people
I need to
who.
just straight up delete it. I never use
That's
that.
what we said
It's
the
just there.
previous like a few episodes ago. I was like, why? And then you
Yeah.
were like, oh, I have OCD and I like the number of apps. I'm like, just
Yeah.
download a
Like
different
that
app.
is the only reason I have Snapchat. It's just because I have OCD, and if I delete it, I have to like put another app there. And I have an app that I wanted, but it's like a $2 subscription, and it's not worth it.
Why? Wait, what was the app? Why?
It's Word of the Day,
Uh,
the app version.
okay, so what's the here's the ultimate test sci. What's the word of the day?
The word of the day today is démarche.
Okay, so you use it, so then it's worth the
Yeah.
2.99. Oh,
Well,
okay,
no, no,
yeah.
no, 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 no. Okay. So the app is $2 a month, right?
Uh,
But I can just Google the word of the day and it's free. So that's what I've been doing. So I don't need the app. I'm just gonna save the $2. Like I have $2 to spare a month, right? It's not
yeah,
like I'm scrounging for scraps, but if I can save money, I will. Like there's no reason to spend $2 if I could just look
that's
it up for
that's
like
a
in two
crazy thing,
seconds.
right? Somebody, some like one that's an awful like like I don't know how you came to like a business, like a board meeting, a business meeting where you sit down and it's like, I have a great idea, guys. You know this app that's like free everywhere else? Let's paywall it. Let's make it
Let's
$2.
paywall the dictionary.
Yeah, and it's like this RNG word generator essentially.
Yeah, it's so easy.
And like people agreed, but then like but then at the same time you sit back and you realize like no, somebody pays for that, you know, instead of subscribing to becoming a member on one of our channels or something like that. they do word of the day. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
those people who don't become members on our channels, like, come on. If you
No,
have $2, that's where it should go.
you know what's mad funny is we've been
What's up?
collecting some enemies.
We have?
Not like so I let me try and find this comment.
I gotta know who the enemy is, right?
I gotta find this comment. So like one, we already shouted out the guy, the Flat Earth Celestial, who his comment said, "Damn that, oh, man, that bike laid Psy out flat like the Earth." That's what he said. And that was from Flat Earth Celestial. Let me
I
see.
think it's funny the amount of people who are like, I think there's one comment that said, yeah, Psy's childhood makes sense. You didn't even get to the worst parts.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just the appetizer.
And from what I know, yeah. No, the thing was, you know, maybe this is a good segue to bring it up, but
What's up?
someone is asking about your tattoos. They were asking about your tattoos.
Oh.
They want to know like why you
Ooh.
got them, blah blah blah. And like I know the story. And then they were like, when I didn't tell them like the details. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, like that, you know, Sai will, he'll bring it up. It's just like, you don't expect like this crazy story. Like don't
There's
have a headcanon about this one.
there's a couple stories, but that I'd rather not say.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, they're kind of random.
For sure. And it's
Like
the
like
overall
most
point.
I say I don't want to say it. It's just like anime related, you know. Whether the anime is good or not, you know, it's up for debate. But they had cool tattoos.
Yeah. And there's various aspects about it, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, whatever you're thinking about it, just like it's probably not that. Like
Yeah, like I have a Ghostface tattoo because I like Ghostface from Scream. I have the Berserk, what is it, Brand of Sacrifice on my neck because I think Berserk's kind of cool, which is kind of funny because I'm like matching Threeville because I know he, another One Piece YouTuber, has the Brand of Sacrifice, but I think
Ooh,
it's like in the middle of his neck, so we're kind of twinning.
dang.
But it's one of those things I never want to say. Like if I ever meet Threeville in real life, I'm probably just gonna like hide my tattoo. I feel that'd be really awkward, right? You just meet another guy and you're like, "Hey, yo, like check this out. You know, we got the same tattoo."
Yo,
But yeah, I'd rather
twinning.
not.
That's like a
Yeah,
girl thing.
twinning.
It's such a
Post that on Snapchat.
yeah. When girls see each other with a matching tattoo, there's like 5 stages of grief. But like on their facade is like, "Girl, that's so," you know, like they like
That's
automatically jump there.
dope.
Whereas dudes are like, "Yeah, what tattoo? What are we talking about?"
Yeah.
That's
What's
kind
up, dude? It's cool.
of yeah. It's like, you know, don't mind me. I just got a rash that just spawned. You know.
Nothing. I got
Yeah.
like the Zelda Triforce. I got a couple of lotuses, skulls. I got some monsters from Final Fantasy. I'm trying to get a back piece this year of a monster from Final Fantasy 2.
Oh,
Entire back piece.
that's fun. That's a
So
cool
yeah.
one. Yeah. I found the comment, by the way. It's from NP. He says, as an ant defender, flat earther, and Beyblade enthusiast, these last couple of episodes have been very troubling for me.
What is he gonna say next from this episode? Oh, I'm a genocide defender. Oh,
No,
come
wait,
on.
we were talking like some person who uses Snapchat. Was that the last thing that we like slandered a little bit?
Yes, he's either gonna say he's a Snapchat defender or a genocide defender,
Oh,
which
God.
both a little bit outrageous, right?
Equally outrageous. Absolutely.
Equally. Come on, come on. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And then Great Son responded to that comment saying, "Same. I'm flat Earth till the end. Fuck the lies."
He does. I like to imagine whenever they go to the grocery store, they see like an orange or an apple that's round, and they just start beating it up, just
Just get
vehemently,
like
just attacking it.
irrationally mad like at all the spheres in their life.
Yeah.
Like they go the globe smasher, you know, like not in globe trotter. No. This is the globe smasher.
The globe
The
smashers,
The
yeah.
serial globe smasher goes around to every geography classroom around the planet and just smashes all the globes.
Destroy everything round.
Replaces it with a map. Go back to where our roots, the good old paper. You know what I
I like
mean?
to imagine if if they went to a tropical island, whatever island they go to is just gonna be devastated because they destroyed all the coconuts and watermelon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All the
Oh
tropical
my
fruits just
goodness.
gone. They're like, guys, the coconuts were how we survived. They're just stepping on it, stomping. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, have
What?
you been binging any shows on Netflix recently?
No, I've been needing to binge some. I need to get season 4 of You. The second part.
Oh,
Yeah, I still haven't made time to
are you a
watch
big
that.
fan of you?
I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot. Did we talk
My,
about You before on the
no,
on?
we never have.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Wait.
I haven't watched the fourth season either.
Yeah.
It's there. I feel like I'll watch it eventually, but I just there's not a big need. I think season three was pretty conclusive. I feel like a fourth season, maybe like I think they're gonna do a fifth one too now. And they
I
said the fifth one's gonna be the final one, but it's like I don't know. I feel like the third one was a pretty solid ending.
I completely agree with you. For people who don't know what we're talking about, it's this very it's on Netflix, right? You
Yeah,
on Netflix?
it's popular.
Yeah.
Sure, even if they haven't watched it, I'm sure people have heard of it.
Yeah, yeah, where essentially this guy, through a series of unfortunate events, has to
Unfortunate.
find himself out of a hairy predicament that may or may not find him a criminal
Okay,
of some sort.
it's okay. The show's been out for like 8 years. The show is about a guy who's a serial killer in a way. Not he doesn't try to be. He just is
Yeah,
because he obsesses over a single girl every season. It's a new girl a season. He obsesses over her. It leads him to sticky situations where he tries to manipulate her a little bit, and then he just ends up murdering people. I don't care that he murders people. I just think the situations he puts himself in are sometimes really dumb.
I definitely see that, and but the way I see it is like obviously it's a mental illness thing where it's like there's a gap in logic always, and it's whenever you find that gap of logic, you're like this is where it went wrong, and this is what he needed to do, but he couldn't because of this mental illness, and
Yeah.
that's the important thing, which is I completely agree with you. I think season 3 was a great way, but they intended to continue it ever since season 3 because they ended with an epilogue that showed a continuation, which that's a very
They
different
didn't need to
situation.
put that in there.
That's a and at the same time, that's a very different situation than like the season ends and then randomly you get a teaser trailer of it continuing. Like, yeah, that's bullshit. They just wanted to squeeze out money, right?
Yeah.
I will say season 4 surprised me. It surprised me in
You
how
watched it?
the first, so they broke it up in two parts. They released a first
Oh,
part that got you introduced to a world essentially because they change environments, and they do a really great job. It brings back all the variables that made it really interesting but made it really fresh, kept it to
yeah.
the roots. There was still that gap in logic that you're explaining, but I think it's different in this new season, which I really liked. The
Is it worth
gaps,
watching?
it is worth watching, but I haven't watched the second part yet, which
Okay.
I'm probably going to get to sometime in the next like 2 weeks, because that it's just it's like I think it goes back to a conversation we had earlier, which someone else commented. We were talking about how when did people when did the barbarians out of humanity, like when did it leave humanity, by the nature of like back in the day.
When do they stop serial killing just
Yeah,
for sport?
everybody was essentially a serial killer back then. If you couldn't, you were the outcast
You were the odd
essentially.
man out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you go back to the back in the day when you slap someone with a glove and you all of a sudden are life and death dueling, right? Like that's an actual
Yeah.
thing.
What are you talking about? You won't participate in the gladiatorial coliseum.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's like
Son, you won't pick up the knife.
when did that exactly stop? And we were like, maybe 1 in 10 people now has that like dog in them that like if they found themselves they would resort to it. And it would be difficult to get more, but like someone said in things like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 2 or 3, which is a completely different story I want to get to. But in You, I think that's like a real aspect of it where it's like you don't know, what's around you, and
You don't know who has that dog in them.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like all those road rage stories you hear about, like people honking the horn, and then all of a sudden the person gets out of the car and just shoots them. It's like, woo, like you never know who's like your neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people underestimate that one, but then two, it's like what you does, it's a good example of what the wealthy how the wealthy essentially like reverts back to that like barbarian kind of
Would
thing.
you?
What like be
Okay, okay. Hypothetical, like hypothetical reality right now.
oh
If you
god.
were like a million or billionaire, right?
Uh-huh.
And let's say you could kill for sport, for fun, and never get
Kill
caught,
for
would you do it?
for sport and nah, I couldn't
You
because
wouldn't.
nah, it
Interesting.
was funny because I just had a stream essentially about this with King Recon. Not
You
about
had a
this.
stream, yeah.
Not
I had, I just casually talked about killing people for sport
nah,
earlier, but
like
I don't want to dust off the boots here, but
No, for me, be going because I had, the health, especially because of the medical stuff. It's like life just
oh,
means something different to me.
but you've seen like all the classic bad guys though, right? Like the bad guys are like, oh, why do I not live long enough and these people get to live forever? Like Jigsaw way of thinking, like, oh, I'm gonna take their life instead now. For like
Yeah,
every
but
year you
like
won't live, you take their years or something.
I feel like it's crazy sometimes when you think about like those villain backstories because they think like oh this not they think I'm not saying this about all the villain stuff that we've heard, but in order to be that level of a villain, it's so much harder than to like do what the normal logical rational route is. Like you put in so much effort, and like at the end of the day I'm also a lazy dude. Like so it's like yo I'm gonna go the easier route a little bit,
But you're a billionaire. You could have like Jarvis do it all, right?
hey, listen, like there gets to this like the disconnected world where like we start making like monsters like you want to do with the billion.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, okay. So
Because
hear
then
me
that's
out.
the question I would ask you, right? If you had a bill you would, right? And then is that any different?
I wouldn't create monsters if I was a billionaire.
You're just saying that on the record so that when
No,
you
no, no,
do
no,
do
no.
it
Hear me out.
and
Hear me out.
then
Okay.
they can't use this against you in the court of
So
law.
so what I would do is I'd create a portal to another dimension and bring monsters in. I wouldn't want to genetically make monsters myself.
Wait, that's
I feel
so
like it'd be
much
a little bit
harder.
weird.
What do you mean? You would create a portal dimension to some mystery realm that doesn't exist? What do you
Yeah,
wow.
it's like I'd like open Pandora's box upon the
Okay,
world.
money can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy another dimension, Sai. Like
Well, I'm not buying them. I mean, they have they have free will. They can do
no,
whatever they want.
not buying like being able to buy into another oh my
No,
god.
you've seen like Stranger Things, right? Like they did that on like a couple $1 million. Imagine what we could do with billions, right?
There was but the thing is not to shout out any conspiracies, that also goes back to the World War II. The science there was kind of lost. They don't know where it essentially came from. It came back from the ancient alien stuff. I'm not even memeing, that's actually the story behind that, which is
There,
it's what's funny is like
what's
Stranger
up?
Things is based off of a true story, you know that, right?
Is it really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that. I didn't
like
do a lot of
the
research.
town that Stranger Things, which we're bouncing onto Netflix a lot, but Stranger Things is another like worldwide
Yeah,
not
it's
known
another
thing.
what is it like Meat Canyon?
Yeah, so the town that they're in and like the government, situation that they find themselves in, and the science aspect of it, all of that was a real thing that happened. There was like this town in middle America that had like a mass hysteria because of like a nearby like government experimentation, which is obviously there's like the rumor stuff of it, but this one's like actually a catalog, like there's an actual like project name reference for it. I
I feel
forget
like
what
I've
it
heard of
was.
this before.
Yeah, it's like it obviously is dramatized, but like hey, I wouldn't put it past me not knowing everything about it based off of like a few Google searches and a Wikipedia
Yeah.
article, right? So um but yeah, I remember reading about that. I was like, damn, that's wild. That's like, you know, we do some crazy stuff. I mean, and it's not just us,
Oh,
right?
here we
Like
go. The Montauk Project.
Montauk Project. Yep.
It included experiments with children and mind reading and time travel. Apparently, did not produce any results, believe it or not.
Yeah. Which is like, you know, that's where the hocus pocus
Did it
conspiracy.
really not produce results, or is that what they're telling us? You never
Yeah.
know.
I mean, hey, listen, we're getting to a scary place where it's like even if it produced results, I still do you think
It
man, this
would
is
it would
such
be
a
the least of our worries.
this is yeah, no, that, but then also it's like if they've been here for that long, like I'm not even worried about them. And I was gonna ask you this crazy transition.
It's a
Tele telepaths and
Telemundo. Oh,
like the what do we call them? Psychokinetic people. What are they called?
telekinesis.
Telekinesis, like people with that power versus AI, who wins?
Probably
Like
telekinesis, right?
telekinesis. I was just thinking
Versus like okay, when you say AI, are we talking about like the Terminator, or just like Chat GPT,
like right
like
now,
my microwave coming to life?
let's say that Project Montauk it was fruitful and we started getting like more people, like people here and there with magical powers like that, right? um
Yeah.
and then AI is constantly growing, and it meets at a certain point where we have like a legion of wizards and a legion of like robots that terminate us.
Oh,
Who
that'd be kind of
wins?
cool.
Yeah. What do you
I
see?
think I think I think the people would win, but I'd be rooting for
The
the AI though.
wizards? You think the
Yeah.
wizards would beat the AI?
Yeah, but I'd be rooting for AI though.
Damn, that's crazy. I feel like
I'd be on team
AI
AI.
would just be able to figure out like what's wrong with like, the wizards like super easy. They'd be able to analyze them, right? And then
I think it would come down to just like depending on how many wizards there are, right? Like I don't know an exact number here. I don't know if
yeah.
you like labeled them or anything, but as far as wizards go, I feel like if they just kept on attacking the robots before they can rebuild, they'd probably get them.
I guess a good hard set, like the Harry Potter verse versus Terminator. That's such a crazy like Harry Potter versus the Terminator. Who wins? There's no way that's a rap battle, right? Like on YouTube.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, epic rap battles of history used to do so much.
No way. I gotta see Arnold's Terminator versus Harry
I don't
Potter.
know. Harry Potter wizards are lame though. Like you could have gave us a better wizard.
Okay, wait, what's a better wizard? I can't think of one on the top of my head. Okay, so I
Um,
googled Terminator versus Harry Potter. The first video that comes up is Harry Potter with guns, and it's 12 million views. What?
I typed in best wizards, and all that came up were Doctor Strange, Gandalf, Dumbledore, Grinwald, Saruman. Oh, Saruman, and then Harry Potter. Wow, I guess there's not a lot of wizard movies then, huh? Or wizard, what is it? Series.
Fiction. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
Wait, we
weird.
should fix that.
Yeah, the wizard market is it's barren.
Yeah, it's prime.
Yeah,
Is it old? Like is it already over? No, but it can't be overdone if there's no one popular.
yeah, no. I mean, if it's just like those guys, like they're iconic already. No, no, we could totally get into the wizard genre, right?
Yo, maybe
What would be
that's
your
our
wizard
calling.
name?
What would be my wizard name? Oh man, because of like Riz and stuff like that. Rizzard. Nah, I'm joking. What? Maybe I would be Dark Spark. That's what I'd be. Dark Spark.
Dark Spark.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you
Damn, I
ever?
was just thinking about Sylvester
What? Why Sylvester? Like the
because it
cat?
has my name in it. Yeah, S-Y, Sylvester.
But okay, so like what does that? So like your wizard
Yeah,
powers,
it is
you turn into
like
a
a wizard
cat.
name. Yeah.
Like that's your prime your main.
My wizard alter ego. Like if I was in a wizarding world, I think my name would be Sylvester.
And like but like your main thing would be you'd be able to turn yourself into like a lion and a cat and or
Oh no, no, my name has nothing to do with my powers.
oh I seem like
I'd want to
mine.
be a necromancer. I'd want to like bring people back from the dead and like
Man,
control
that's
their corpses.
cheating.
What
Necromancer
do
is
you
the most
mean?
hacks to like power in like
Like
that's so meta. Sai, that's
okay,
so
okay, okay.
meta right
Hear
now.
me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Imagine this, right? There's a town that I want to take over. What I would do is I
Uh-huh.
would go to their graveyard late at night, raise all of their deceased relatives, and then have them attack their own families, so that people would be they would waver too much to actually kill their deceased dad, mom, lover, and then my necromancy army will just defeat that village and take over, and we'll just gather our forces one by one,
I'm
hit
gonna
every
be
village.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Sai. What you just explained is I feel like that's formulaic. That was like I expected more from you, Sai. Come on, you're telling in
Well, it
necromancer you
depends
go
what I
to
could do. Okay.
cemetery. Obviously, where else would the necromancer go, right? Like, thank you, Sai, for using the power
Hey,
well.
I would use the battle of emotions on them. Okay, how about this then? How about this?
You know where I would
I
go
would
if I was a
equip.
necromancer?
What's up?
If I was in the United States, I would go. Um, Actually, I don't know which state it was, but I think Connecticut actually a good one because they have a bunch of dinosaurs. They have a bunch of dinosaur fossils. That's where I would go. What do
The
you mean?
dinosaurs.
Yeah, you go for the.
Dinosaurs are lame.
But man, you said you go to a random ass cemetery and attack people's family.
All
Whoop de
right.
doo.
Hear
How
me out.
many
Hear me out. Hear
necromancers
me
you
out.
know are archaeologists and go to like the? I mean, that's also a thing with necromancers, the archaeologists, but they don't go to fossils like
Okay, hear me out.
dinosaurs.
Okay, once we take over that village, right? What I'm
Oh,
gonna
now it's a
do is
village. Okay, so it's not even like a metropolitan city. Why isn't it like this?
once we take over that village or town, right? I'm gonna start leveling up my undead army, right?
Who said
What
you
I'm
could
gonna
level them up? What do you mean? This
no, no, no.
isn't
Hear
a
me out. Hear me out.
game.
I'm
You
gonna
just like
take the
click a
recently
button.
deceased, right? I'm gonna take the recently deceased, and then have my army like tear apart their bones and flesh, and then we'll create bone armor.
So we okay. I am I being gaslit right now? Is this what's happening? Like
Talking about?
I feel like every necromancer story is just what you're spitting out at me. And I'm like, is I
But it's cool. It's cool.
no, I get it. Necromancers, I when you know, to clue you guys in on my perspective, there's been a lot of like webtoons and things like that. That necromancer is like a meta power right now. And so like what Sai is explaining, I'm like literally all of them do exactly what he's saying, and he's like yeah, it would be super cool bone armor, and I'm like yeah, that's kind of like where they all like yeah, you know, been there, done that.
Okay, but you're talking about freaking necromancy dinosaurs though. That's so lame.
How is that lame? How many?
Dinosaurs are lame in general. Nobody likes dinosaurs.
Wait, whoa. Okay, Sai, see, you've been you're enemy number one. A surprise. I thought I would be enemy number one on the 50/50 pod because people are already out for you, for the Beyblade takes, right? Don't I think dinosaurs is one of those core
Bro,
ones.
no
There's no
way.
way you're anti-dinosaur, bro.
Dude, no way dinosaurs have a fan base in 2023.
What? They do.
Past their prime.
No, we
Dude,
we
nobody
retcon,
likes
we
dinosaurs.
just retcon dinosaurs, and I think they made them super cool, right? Like, wait, have you heard about the major retcon?
No, what's the retcon? The feathers?
Yeah. That like
Bro, nobody
what do you mean
cares.
nobody cares?
Who cares that dinosaurs have
It could have
feathers?
been a giant chicken. Come on, the T-Rex being like a giant bird is kind of sick. Come on.
I mean, it's not bad design wise, but I still don't think they're cool.
There were giant monsters that ate each other. What? That's literally the dream world you're
Demons
thinking
are
of.
cooler.
What do you mean demons are
Azazel.
cooler? Oh my god. So you dinosaurs, come on. They were sick. Like imagine how much information we lost about dinosaurs, right? How many of them were like the mantis shrimp that had
Bro,
like
just
crazy
take the fossil
superpowers?
fuel and go.
At this point, we are our own fossil fuel, right? Like we're using the bones of our ancestors at this point for fossil fuels,
I would
right?
hope so. I mean, most of us aren't, but there's an option. There's an option out there for it.
I like how you said I hope so, but if you're a necromancer, oh my god, wait, that's a cracked storyline. The necromancer's entire plot line is to take down Big Oil because they're they're taking down all the fossil, like all of the bones that they need for the army. So
Oh, that sounds like a
unironically,
webtoon.
yeah, like the unironically, this necromancer, he gets revived as a necromancer. He feels like a curse, but his entire mission is to take down like Sitgo and
Big
Shell.
oil.
Oh my god, wait, that's such a meta story. Whoa, hold on.
And then Greta Thunberg can come in like season 5 and be like ally.
Yep.
That'd be gross. Imagine Greta Thunberg's like like I mean 5 seasons later, what? She'd be like
She
20 or something? 18?
this is oh my I got the ultimate plot point. She becomes the number one ally, right? Like the person that you
Yeah.
don't think
Oh, we
dies.
backstab a red wedding. Yeah.
No, okay, but
Oh.
one way or another, she dies in the story, guys. Don't clip this out
Yeah,
and show it to her.
the story.
In the story,
Fiction.
and then the necromancer revives her to carry on the thing, and it's like, you know, oh
And then we
man.
kill her again a second time.
No.
In
Okay,
the
we
story.
need to. We need to go to this writers meeting, Sai,
Yeah, we,
about
we need
this.
to we need to get the Ghost Riders in on this.
Yeah, yeah, the Ghost Rider. Oh, good pun,
Oh,
good
I
pun.
get it. Ghost Riders.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's a good
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they don't know we're actually just real life necromancers.
I wish, man, I wish I had powers, but I feel like I'd just be a bad guy. So maybe it's for the best.
Do you feel like if the um if powers were more accessible, people would lean towards being villains or heroes more
I
easily?
think a majority of the population would go to heroes.
You think so? Really?
Yeah, I'd be a villain, dude. I'd be straight up villain.
Maybe your perspective is that of a villain though. Like I
But
feel
but but
like
then
more people
again,
would go to villainry.
but here's the thing though.
Uh-huh.
With if we're talking about like a superhero world, right?
Yeah.
I feel like murder would be more acceptable. Like let's say a supervillain popped up.
Uh-huh.
Let's say a supervillain popped up. The guy's super evil. He wants to be bad, and he has like I don't know the power of ice, something super generic. And like, okay, this guy's killed like 100,000 people.
Yeah.
We're not gonna just throw him in jail. We're gonna kill him, right? I would like to imagine we're not gonna be like, oh yeah, he killed 100,000 people. Let's put him in jail.
You know, that is something in fiction that like they don't
Like just
necessarily go
execute him. Like
to.
just kill him.
But I do always think about it. I was like, damn, like the entire plot of this show would have been solved if you just kind of like understood the reality that like, hey, you guys have crazy powers, and maybe you just kind of have to
Maybe
erase some of
yeah,
them.
maybe it's better
Like,
if this power's lost upon his death.
yeah, like maybe not give this an opportunity to breathe if like you struggled, like all of humanity struggled to keep this thing under lock and key, and it's like maybe that lock and key isn't powerful enough. And you know,
Yeah.
it's a
And if
question.
somebody breaks him out of jail, like what, he's gonna kill another 100,000 people, and then we're gonna throw him in jail again? Like, no, dude, just
Yeah.
execute him.
You know, I definitely think that that would make sense, but I do question humanity's. We do. I think like it's a weird thing where it's like we lean on like these principles, right? Like even like the right wing and left wing kind of have like a similar thing where it's like, yeah, the death penalty is too excessive, right? Like very in various ways. And I don't know if superpowers would change that, but
I would like to think they would. If superpowers don't change people's stance on the death penalty, nothing will.
oh
And
yeah,
then at
yeah,
that point,
yeah.
the world is better off just burned.
Yeah, you know, a superpower world. I feel like the thing
It would be
is,
too much chaos. But here's the thing, because if everybody has superpowers, we would have to start executing the villains.
yeah, no, yeah,
Because if
because
we don't, they're just gonna keep on spawning in.
yeah, I mean, we'd have to figure out what, like, maybe you can like, not is it euthanize? No, that's also dying. Neuter. That would be kind of like if there was a way to like neuter powers. Obviously, the thing. I think when superpowers come into play, it's like this is something that that like Marvel and DC to this day like I get it. I get it. They make universes around it, but like it doesn't make sense where it's like there's like a superhero in every goddamn town, and they're like you can't tell me that they don't like cross over, right? Like you know
Yeah,
the way that they end up connecting later on. It's like yeah, I'm sure you didn't know about the guy next door, right? Like it, yeah, you can like
Spider Man.
move at the speed of light or whatever, and you just never went one state over like very interesting and then like
You have all the money in the world. You didn't go over there.
yeah, yeah. Like you
You
didn't
didn't say
hear.
hello to Wakanda. You didn't go see Aquaman.
Like you're telling me the local news stations never covered like a man who can fly and saved like this town like 100 times? Like absolutely not. That's not how that should work. And to me, it's like when superpowers get introduced, our world gets so much smaller. I think because like there's not enough like room for that much. It's already getting to like a suffocating point, but like our powers just put it out. We would need a Mars, we would need like on other planets 100%. I think we would just send all the superpowered people elsewhere, right? That would make the most
Yeah.
sense. That'd be easiest. Did you hear about last week how all the planets aligned?
No, no, I did not.
Yeah, March 28th. This is a quick fact for maybe we could bring it up in our One Piece stuff, but that yeah, March 28th. Apparent, I don't know the nuance of it. I just saw the headlines where it's like the five planets were visible and aligned with like the Earth and Sun or whatever, and I'm like that sounds so crazy, but like nobody's talking about it, and I'm like that surely can't be a common thing. Apparently it is more common than I realized, but uh it's just like one of those interesting things. Like, man, imagine a world where we just like are interstellar. Would if we made it to Mars, would you be one of the first people to leave? Like, and it was safe to live there. You know, not safe, but like one of the pioneers on the new horizon.
Maybe. Just to get
Maybe.
a business started, yeah.
Oh, a bit. Okay.
Why would you not get a business because think about it, generational wealth, right? Like
Oh,
I
look
wouldn't
at.
be there to see like the fruits of my labor, but like think about the people who came to early America, for example, or early
Mhm.
wherever people settled. Like
Damn, you.
generational wealth exists, and I would probably do it if my wife was on board, just so we can set up some sort of business or shop and just capitalize on it.
That's I. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I didn't expect that answer out of you, but I respect you for that. Except for the the nuance behind that basically means you'd become like you want to become like a Rothschild like
Oh, why? Who? Okay, why wouldn't you want to be, right? Like, if you could be the guy in the shadows, like, crafting up these master plans and controlling where the wealth goes, like, why wouldn't you?
no, no.
If I literally looked at you and said, "Hey, would you rather have $1 million or nothing?"
Yeah, but
Like, what would
like
you say? Like, would you say no?
I feel
I'd be
like
damned if there was a lot of people that said no.
the people that have the foresight and the power to grab it for themselves in a lot of ways, separating a few people, because actually a few commenters brought up like a few other billionaires we could talk about, since we kept on talking about like Elon Musk and stuff,
Let's talk about
which
Elon Musk real quick.
I mean it's
I'm kidding.
adjacent to that, but I like to think that there is the people that acquired that power, and then it got pushed onto the generational side of it. The generational side is more of the issue than the person who started it. Sometimes maybe that's not exactly true. That's probably not true, but like, man, I feel like moving forward, maybe that's the case. But in terms of moving to Mars, that's an incredible point that I don't think a lot of people think about when it comes to that. Because my wife asked me that a long time ago, and I said absolutely fucking not. I would not be the first person to go. I would wait until it's like vetted out a little bit to figure out like what the fuck is happening. I ain't figuring that shit for people. That's too much effort out of my brain for all these people that like whatever. Unless the only way is like if my kids were really
Yeah, let's
wanted to.
go.
Yeah, if it was something like
God.
that. And I said that before we even had a kid. I was like, that was like the only reason I would go out of my way if like my child made a good argument, like what you said, like, hey, like there's this opportunity, blah blah blah, and like I would support that 100%.
Because
And
imagine how easy it would be. Like, let's say there's only 1,000 people. Bro, you could literally open a sandwich shop and you'd be fine. Like you could open
wait,
up the most mundane, like backwaters bullshit,
no, you
and
just start
then it would
a.
be fine.
Well, okay. As bad as this franchise is, would you be the first franchisee owner of a McDonald's on Mars?
I just make my own thing. No,
You would. Oh, but wouldn't you be afraid of big food coming in and then setting down their franchises, and then are you just because you're on
so
Mars,
when you
can you
think about
compete?
it, right? So the thing with big franchises like that here in America
Uh-huh.
is that, let's say I have a mom and pop shop. Like,
Yeah.
let's say I opened up Size Sandwich Shop around the corner,
Yeah.
and there's McDonald's right here.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I can keep up to the pace with this McDonald's across the street.
Yeah.
Some days they beat me, some days I don't, but I still make enough to get by.
Yeah.
But the problem is that my sandwich shop only has a radius of, maybe I'd say the most people would go is about 7 to 10 miles for food.
Uh-huh.
If they're outside of my 10-mile radius, then they're not going to come here. As
Uh-huh.
far as McDonald's goes, they're so spread out that if they're outside of my radius, there's probably another McDonald's right near them.
True.
So
True. True. True.
if we're only 1,000 people on Mars, for example,
Uh-huh.
there's only one McDonald's. Unless they're just wasting money on multiple franchises, left and right on Mars
Uh-huh.
for only 1,000 people.
Hey, but
So
hey,
the
they see the
competition,
same opportunity as you, where they're like, "Yo, we could create this foothold here."
Hey, they could. Maybe they open up like 10 McDonald's in one little block for some reason.
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't make any sense, but let me tell you, the competition is still thinned. The odds are still stacked in my favor more on Mars than they ever would be here in America.
Okay, okay. See, when you earlier when you said like I'd start a business and I create generational wealth, I wasn't thinking like sandwich shop. I thought there
Well,
was
yeah,
some.
sandwich shop, that's just the first thing that popped in my head. It doesn't have to be a sandwich shop.
Yeah.
It can be anything else, please.
Like when you said generational wealth and then said sandwich shop, I was like, okay, let him cook literally.
Hey, par. Hear me out. Subway. Actually let me cook. I'm actually gonna cook on this one.
Yo, I think sandwich shop aside, there are 100% there's a lot of ways you could become the biggest grocery store thing, or like figuring out some solution on Mars that that they don't isn't even relevant to the Earth, right? You that makes a lot of sense. And then if you're the first, there's so much power in being the first that it takes a huge mess up being the first to like a really profitable industry, and then not surmounting as like the industry leader by the end of it. You have to mess up royally in order to lose that seed.
Like, not even a scandal will put you under, really.
Yeah. If
You
you're
have to be like a mass murderer that gets sent to jail 10 times to actually mess that up.
yeah, like you just have to like lose your shit on Mars in order to like actually like miss out on this opportunity. I feel like you're right. I feel like anybody, as interesting it is, because like people almost ask like who would be the first people to Mars, but I think you're right. It's that the people who are the first people to Mars, they're going to be the people who see opportunities, and obviously some people are going to fail, but those are the people that are probably going to make like millions, billions off of just moving, however that comes about, right? Like I would imagine, like if you were able to figure out a way to send shit back to Earth super cheap, right? Which is something that is an infrastructure I think like would be already incentivized by the government on hand. And if you sent back Mars dirt, right, bro, imagine selling Mars dirt on Earth. You'd become insta billionaire, bro. Like absolutely insane.
You could, yeah, and like you said, like even just the delivery service would be insane too, right? Because not everybody's gonna go to Mars. Imagine you go, but your family stays. You could be the middleman just making trips back and forth.
Yeah.
And you could charge buku bucks for that. Like there's a lot of ways to get around this.
Yeah, like being an Uber driver for like Interstellar, crazy. Imagine that.
Correct. And you could charge a lot.
Yeah, except
Because let's be real, like what other courier services are there going to be, right?
yeah, except this is where reality sets in, which yeah, I just want to point out that especially when me and Sai get into these conversations that are larger, like more cerebral than what we're giving it for, we don't have all the facts,
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm just the guy that reads One Piece and works at a restaurant. we're not exactly scientists or
Yeah.
multimillionaires here.
So take that in mind when you guys
We're just regular guys.
when the comments come in. But I also appreciate when the comments give us the like the stuff that we missed, or the context behind something. And I think with this one specifically, I feel like, isn't it like it takes like 3 months to go to like Mars or something like that, or like longer? It's like takes a long time, and like
God, yeah.
so like that's already, or it has to be how long. Actually, that's probably an easy Googleable thing.
Just to like Google
How
it.
long to travel to Mars? Let's see. 7 months. About 7 months.
Ooh, yeah, that's a long time.
300 miles, bro. That's hey,
Yikes.
there could be that's if you paid someone a salary in order to courier over something, I think people would sign up for that. Like they would just bring things across from Earth to Mars, and they're set for a year, but like they're also sacrificing 7 months on a trip. I think that people would actually choose to do that. That might actually be a business thing. You could, bro, Amazon would go nuts.
We could make so much money. Like, let me tell you, Par. I think if we went to Mars, if we were one of the first 200 people on Mars, we'd make so much money.
Oh man, I gotta tell my wife.
I mean, I feel like it doesn't require a lot of genius. So it's not like I'm saying me and Par are like mega mind monsters here. like just
Hey, hey,
moguls
hey!
going after the money. But
The pepper
I I,
gun.
th- I think we do well. I think we do well. What's up?
After cracked ideas like the pepper gun, like which I just want to bring back real quick. My wife was
Hey,
literally like, "You need to do this, like 100%." And the reason why I was mentioning how
did she agree with the idea that there's a weird gender thing with it?
she that even that aside, she was like, "Yep, what's crazy is people actually like carry around hot sauce, like that's an actual thing where they
I
do that,
do.
and it
Yeah.
doubles as a self-defense where I mentioned prior to the call that I was telling you about the other company, the nonprofit, educational nonprofit, and it's about Bangladesh and like the liberation, not about the liberation war, but that's the content that I was covering. And so we recently got through like the 52nd anniversary, and so I posted stuff up about that history, and people are commenting saying that their grandparents and their parents who were experienced the war, they were the grandparents taught their kids because they didn't have weapons, they didn't have things were taken away from them, so they had to resort to using peppers, and they taught the women to hide peppers so that they could protect themselves. I'm like, yo, like I didn't even think about it in that context, but it's 100%. She's like, you need to actually do this because like it's such an easy thing, and you're right, it doesn't exist. I'm like, me and Sai, we be cooking sometimes. We be cooking. We sometimes we're cooked,
We're,
but we
we're,
be
we're gonna we're gonna
cooking.
be we're gonna be cooking peppers. Let me tell you.
Yeah, 100%. And then we could gourmet, like it could double as like a gourmet like pepper a hot sauce experience too, where it's like, like taking a shot of pepper, but like you spritz it in, oh man, and
Yeah.
tastes mad good. Oh,
Hey,
and
I'm
my wife
I'm
was
down
also
with that.
saying something about hot sauce that she always it finds, not always finds obnoxious, but like when you have hot sauce and you're like putting it on something, you have to like, you want it like on everything, right? But you have to like drip it on and drizzle, and that's like, a thing. But like, why isn't there a spray? You could just spray everything and it's like unilaterally all there. And I was like,
Just a little spray. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Like that
yeah.
that is a problem that people have. As an avid hot sauce guy myself, um, I can't admit this on camera, but let's just say I have a bottle that I obtained from a place I used to work at,
Oh
and
no.
it's kind of like that where it's a spray.
Considering I know where you used to work at,
Well, okay, I used to work at a lot of places,
yeah,
but
yeah, I don't know if it's the
I've worked at
same.
a lot of restaurants in my time. I love
Yeah,
restaurants, but hey, let me
are
tell
you
you,
air quoting restaurants, or are we just, it's restaurants? Can I just get that clarity real quick? Is it quote?
it's it's restaurants.
Okay, okay. No, no.
But yeah,
But to be fair,
all I gotta say was on purpose.
I don't even want to know where that one went.
I ate some hot sauce and I went on a hot sauce rampage, like a Shulan Moo. What is it? Moonlit Nights. Just I went crazy and I just woke up hot sauce on my face,
Yeah,
my chin drizzling all over me, and then I had the equipment on my hand.
to dig you out of this hole right now. My wife is also an avid hot sauce user, not as extreme as you with the restaurant story, but she was like, I want to come onto the podcast just to talk about hot sauce with you guys. I'm like, that's so funny. She was
I like to imagine she thinks this is a hot sauce podcast.
I clipped out, no, because I clipped out like the 10-15 minutes that we talked about it, starting from the bending. So the
Yeah,
conversation started from like water bending or whatever, which honestly, that was a cool conversation, which we could, maybe we get back to at a different episode of this episode. But I sent it to her to see what she thought, because like inside of it there was like this subtle like, oh, like, this is a feminine thing, and I wanted to gauge what she thought, because we were saying like, what would like women viewers, female viewers think about this like topic that we're covering. And so I sent it to her, and
yeah.
she's like, but I know you guys, it's fine. And I was just like, it's not that bad. And she's just like, yeah, but then she segued into the whole like, you guys should do this, you guys should trademark this thing. And then you know what she said?
What's
um
up? We're
she
gonna be on
said
Shark Tank.
she said the company name should be Cyanide. Like, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, because it would make sense. And then our
yeah.
the hot sauce line would be
Actually, yeah.
Cyanide. Oh, it'd be sick, right? Like,
You know the boys will love that shit, bro.
yeah, 100%. We imagine I
The dogs
wouldn't
be barking for that one.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to go to court for this, but like imagine how cold it'd be to be like introduced as like the creators of cyanide. You know what I mean? Like that's so
Well,
sick.
I like to imagine they would also like give us some sort of addendum, like, oh yeah, by the way, these guys are a hot sauce company. They're not actual fucking hitmen, right? Like I like to imagine a court would give us some leeway here to explain ourselves and not just be like, yeah, here's their name, cyanide. Let's just throw them to the wolves, right?
They're just slinging poison around
Yeah.
legally. The jurors are just so confused. Like, how did
It's
we let this slide? Like, why are we even here?
jail. Throw them in jail.
We just get guilty immediately, and then like in the like the conclusion statements, they were like, wait, they're a hot sauce company.
Hot sauce. Why don't you guys tell us this beforehand? We thought you guys were mass murderers. Yeah, beautiful.
No, that's too funny. That's too
That'd
funny.
be cursed.
Yeah, it was funny because my wife, that was one of the things about it. She's like, tying my name to cyanide. She's like, you really want to be? I was like, this is kind of cool. And she's like, oh,
It's a cool name, let me tell you.
yeah.
Let me tell you, honey.
I don't know if that's like a dude thing, but like, being the quote unquote creator of the cyanide,
Hey,
it just
hey, all I gotta say to the sausage boys out there, is cyanide a cool name?
are we just being dudes? I feel like that is like I think universally.
But that's what they want though, right? Like as a guy, you want a guy name, right? Like okay, would you?
Oh no. Oh no. I could hear the internal workings that was going on there.
Would you rather buy? Okay, let's say there's a gun, right? An M9.
Uh-huh. Okay.
There's a gun out there. You want to buy it, but there's a cheaper version. It's $200 cheaper, 20% off, whatever have you, right? Whatever tickles your jimmies. But
Uh-huh.
instead of being like having it being called like M9, the Death Rattler, instead it's called Princess Fufu's Bazam. Which one would you buy?
They look exactly the same?
Let's say Princess Fufu's Bazam is also hot pink.
You know, honestly,
Would you spend an extra $100
absolutely
for
not.
the
I'd be
M9?
rocking the Princess Fufu, bro.
No way.
Yeah,
Hey, sausage boys. Par isn't one of us.
I mean,
Hey, sausage boys, execute them.
I look at it like this. It's like, yo, if they do the same thing, it doesn't matter what it looks like. You know what I mean? Like
It does matter, Par.
I think for that specifically, at the end of the day, gun, right? It does the same thing. Pink, black, green, yellow,
All right,
purple.
let's say it has a custom sound effect.
But what is the sound effect? What is the sound effect?
It's a girl sound. Let's say it says shabam every time you shoot it. Imagine going hunting with the boys,
What
right?
is the
Pure
silence?
sausage
I
fest.
equip a silencer on it. What does it do then? What does it do?
No,
You were about to
okay.
whisper.
It's
You were
it's
gonna
not
whisper.
it's not compatible with silencers.
Oh no. If it's not compatible with silencer, I have to,
Amen. Now you're going to the M9, the Death Rattler.
the death. Yeah, easily.
That's what I'm talking about. And
Yo.
then every time you shoot it, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger saying compatible.
No, listen. If you told me that with the silencer, it went shabam, like it just whistled, I get that instantly, bro. Like I need that Valorant plugin, like that mod, bro.
Oh, man.
The gun just like pew, and just like some like a girly voices go pew 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 pew. I'll play with that shit. Imagine losing and dying to that. That is so funny. Oh my god. The last final words you hear, shabam. Like,
It's like dying to somebody who plays Fortnite and they do like the floss dance on your body.
oh my god.
I forgot where I heard that meme, but like they're like imagine like a 14-year-old killing you in a game and they just do the floss dance.
That is I remember back in my
cursed.
day, in order to like teabag in a game, you had to manually hit that joystick. They made emoting like so commonplace. It's like damn, everyone would be dancing now. It's crazy.
Too many people dancing, bro.
Yeah.
Like they at least they need to make it harder, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it loses meaning, right? When your
Yeah, when it's
NFL,
that easy to emote, like, come on,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, the NFL celebrations and this, it's all the same thing. It's like I don't know. I feel like we gotta change it up.
Yeah, I think it'd be better if like the floss dance was hidden behind like a whole ass code.
Oh, like you gotta hit buttons for it, like
Yeah, yeah, like imagine like Dance Dance Revolution where like you gotta learn it. So when somebody like floss dances on your dead body, it's like, yo, like this guy watched like a 10-minute YouTube tutorial. He practiced for like a couple days just to floss dance on my ass. Then it would
yeah,
be different, right?
yeah. No,
It'd be more insulting.
it's you know that I never I don't play Fortnite. Wait, do you play Fortnite?
No, I used to.
You used
And
to?
by used to I mean like I played it like once.
Yeah. Like I've seen people play it. I don't. No, I don't have it on my computer. I was trying to think if my old computer had it because I always like downloading things regardless of like whether I'm gonna play it just in case,
Yeah.
especially if I think it's gonna be popular. I maybe I did download it and I never loaded up. I don't remember. But uh a I watched a video about the history of Fortnite, which is like I kind of like skimmed through it because I don't really care that much, but it was really interesting because like it started off as like a zombie game and then changed into
Yeah,
what
it was
it
supposed to be
was.
pure PvE and story.
Yeah, and then they changed it to like this super like tech like mechanically intensive game where you had to like build up and you people like to the point where you could create macro codes and like like essentially cheat, but like obviously you couldn't do that in the game or competitively. And what's funny is apparently they've been going away from that and they've been making the game easier by removing the build format, and that's honestly been doing wonders for their numbers. And I was just like, huh, that's so interesting how like things go through
It was a
cycles like
fad, you
that.
know?
Yeah, because like that was a huge one. Honestly, I kind of respected Fortnite for that build thing where you see people like go,
It's still there.
yeah, it's still there. I know that, but like considering like that is not apparently what most people or the most popular game mode right now, at least from what I took away from it. Maybe it still is the most popular game mode, but it's kind of interesting how things like go in cycles like that. Complex
What's
to easy.
what's cool is so with Fortnite, did you hear what they're doing? Where they're adding like a forge mode where you can like build your own maps and stuff and create your own
Oh,
games off of Fortnite's engine.
that's
They're
interesting.
they're making it easy for like just random kids or me and you to just hop in there with no knowledge about coding whatsoever, just to go in there and create our own shiz. And you actually, if it gets popular enough, you actually get a revenue split with Epic Games. So it's
Whoa.
actually like they are that is a really big brain decision because I think community shit like that actually pays off wonders.
Oh,
Like a good example is like Left 4
1000%.
Dead,
Yeah.
right? Left 4 Dead 2 still has a huge player base because people can mod, but you don't get any revenue off that. Like, but if
Mm.
you're able to, then I don't know. I just feel like that's gonna be huge.
No,
That's
yeah.
just such a smart thing. Like,
I
if I had a kid, I want him to do that. Like, if you're gonna play games, like build something like
Yeah, like
that. Just make some money.
Among Us had something like that where there's a bunch of mods that came out first, and I think like at the beginning there was some kind of like business kind of like lawsuit for all the mods, but then they ended up making like a I maybe there was like some kind of royalty based off of it where if, like
Yeah.
if you were ended up playing that, you just had to pay like Among Us creators for that with when you're using their essential like uh format, right? And some things got away from that, but that is I think that is the way of the world because you know when it comes to like TikTok and Snapchat even, um you know one of the things that people it goes under the radar, but one of the engines of both of those social media things is the community aspect of people making filters that go viral, create trends. You know, those are people. That's not TikTok making those filters. That's just random people that just signed on like the creator thing. There's a whole separate side for AR stuff, which I actually have on my computer right now. I'm gonna learn how to do that stuff. I just wanna I just wanna know how people do it, but it interested me. And I think TikTok actually pays people for if like if your thing goes viral, if your filter goes viral, then they give you a kickback for how many things how many people used your filter, which is
I'd be
super cool.
surprised if they didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, because it
Like it's
is.
such a smart move.
Yeah, yeah. Incentivizing that is so important.
It's
And
it's like YouTube, right? Like, would you? I mean, not like we make a lot of money on YouTube whatsoever, especially with these podcasts. But it's fun, right? Like me and you are free on Sunday nights. We do it.
yeah,
So it's not like we're making buku bucks and that's why we do YouTube.
yeah.
But would you do YouTube if there was like no monetary incentive, like $0?
I mean, it wouldn't be sustainable for sure,
Yeah, it wouldn't
right?
be sustainable.
I mean, that's one thing. Because, like, once you
Bump up the
start
hours at work. Like,
doing
yeah, here we
it,
go. Hey guys, I
us
can work
getting
Mondays
this
again.
out is us just talking Sunday nights, right? But in
Yeah,
order for us to prioritize that, is there an end goal, right? If there's no end goal to incentivize us to continue, then are we going to be consistent, right? And consistency is one of the most important things. So you have to give incentive for that consistency. And when it comes to like this is probably the bare bone of the kind of content that we could do, which, isn't, a lot of people script out some podcasts, create things. We're just going off the rip, which I think on its own is kind of like
genuine.
is just something that you and
Like
I
you
can
guys heard us
do.
talk about genocide earlier.
Oh
I mean, come
god.
on.
Oh god. I love that that's the way we started the thing. I remembered in like the last minute, like, oh, I could randomly just start right here and then like segue into the thing. But
I'll have to say, not about gender or race. So we always want to disclaim that. I don't want to get canceled now.
yeah. 100%. We gotta put that there. But
You gotta put that disclaimer out there whenever I bring up the genocide topic.
when it comes to the YouTube monetization stuff, I think like most of the content that people actually enjoy, not the brain dead stuff, like if you truly want quality, yeah, you have to put the monetization behind it, right? So and then on top of that, YouTube is only as good because of the content that's on it, right? So in order to incentivize good content, you should pay them. And at the same time, yeah, like TikTok and Snapchat, if they want the fuel, the lifeblood of their things to continue, they should incentivize the people creating the filters that people love and use like on the daily basis. For example, I just joined like a Discord thing for TikTok's thing, and there's a few One Piece filter creators, and I was like, yo, that's where all these guys come from. They come from this Discord, and then you see them on TikTok. Honestly, I'm like, where are your filters? Because the ones that on TikTok that went viral are kind of ass, but they all come from that Discord thing where it's like a general Discord, but you can find like you type in One Piece and you find a certain group, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. So the route that Fortnite's going, that's Fortnite's one of those things where as a business case study is I think really really incredible because they pivoted their game so many times to success, which is one of the hardest things to do in business, where it's like constantly refinding success and maintaining it despite how different it is from your like original formula
The
is
original goal.
yeah, it's so good and or important to learn from. And then this one, that's really smart that they're going that route, because yeah, the way of the world right now is like that's kind of
It
like a
should be done like later this year too. So it's not like something that's
wow.
like far off. Like all with their engine, you have free reign to do whatever you want. And here's the thing: it
Fortnite's a
doesn't have
really
to.
good engine. I don't know what
Oh
their
yeah,
thing their base thing is, but Epic Games has their own proprietary thing, I'm pretty sure. So
oh yeah.
yeah. So
Like I have you seen what people were able to do on Roblox with the Roblox engine? They're able to create like other games. Like one dude actually made a Call of Duty game.
I heard. A lot of
Yeah,
my
like
baby
in
cousins are like,
Roblox is doo doo.
Roblox is such a, it's like a cult. Like every baby cousin, which not baby cousin, I'm just saying like all the babies that are adjacent to family,
All the
call them
babies that
cousins.
Par
They're
owns.
like, "Do you have Roblox?" And I'm like, Robux or whatever." I'm like, "Absolutely not. Stop this. Stop this. Get this shit out of
It's not,
here."
hey, come on, kid. If wake up. If you want to play
Wake up to
Roblox, play
reality.
Fortnite. Play Fortnite. Come on,
Yeah, I don't know how
make some money.
Roblox connects to any of that stuff, but Roblox is Epic Games too.
No. It's not Epic Games, but it's another like game that does the same thing where they give kids
Gotcha.
free reign of their engine.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
They
I
just
I
do
remember
whatever.
like there was a huge investment thing a long time ago, like conversations about someone buying out it or investing in it, and like NFT crypto kind of type of thing, because that's like the perfect platform for it. But yeah, that's all of those things are super super. The one thing that I am more worried about. I think someone commented it in the 50/50 section on my Discord about have you seen the new Unreal Engine
Unreal
AI?
Engine 5.
Like the AI NPC like development thing. Like they made like a
Oh, you're talking about
person,
how they make or they're doing NPC dialogue with AI.
and it's like like it looks like real life. Like it's kind of scary. Like it's getting there. Very very.
Yeah. They're making like
It's
actual like in-depth conversations. I don't think it's that scary.
but like it also
I,
like the
I don't
face, like the
know.
face looks more like back in my day, right? Back in our day when you played a
Yeah.
game, it's like you played Grand Theft Auto and you ran over people, but they were definitely not people. They were just pixels on a screen. But now now yo, the way that these, if AI is fueling all these things, it's gonna start getting like Grand Theft Auto won't
They're going to be
feel.
upset whenever you kill them.
Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto in the future, if they, because Unreal Engine Grand Theft Auto, that's the engine, right? But like the like again, like back in our day, it was like you drove your car dangerously close to the pedestrian and they're like whoa, and then they just like kind of like scurry off to the side, and there was like a three formulaic response, right? But if you put AI
Where are you
behind this
going?
NPC, yeah, exactly, you put NP like AI, and now this one has a different personality than the one other one that you just ran over, and now each one is like semi sentient with a soul and
All with a different
personality.
voice too, because
Yo,
AI just generates different voices and mixes it. So every person is will actually be unique.
I
That's kind
think
of cool.
I think once like games like Grand Theft Auto get to that, like Call of Duty, I feel like that's when, all those boomer like Congress people that want to ban like video games, and they're like, this is how we make serial killers, blah blah blah, and like mass
Yeah.
murders, and like the thing, like you have not played these games. It's literally like so far removed from being a person. But in the future, if you start putting AI into it, I might start agreeing. I might start agreeing and being like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like if I see a kid just running over a bunch of NPCs with AI souls, I'm like, yo, we gotta put this kid on a list real quick. Like,
I don't know. As a kid, I thought it was super cool to kill
no,
people in like games like that
no,
though.
that's fair. But like
Even
our games as a
the
kid was
more
way
realistic
different.
though, the better.
No, no, sorry. Come on, come on, come on. Like the AI can give emotions to it, right? Like it's gonna process like my leg was run over, and then they put the appropriate scream on that, and it sounds like very real. And I feel like that's like the step right before like AR, right? Like virtual reality. When if
Oh, that'd be
imagine
nice.
you pair the two, I don't know if people will be able to tell the difference.
Or even like VR where you're just like, I don't know, doing some crazy stuff. I feel like that'd be good.
I don't like the way you said doing some crazy stuff. Only because like usually you say what the crazy stuff is, and like you don't hide it. What was running through your head when you said doing some crazy stuff?
Just, like crazy stuff like Grand Theft Auto stuff.
Okay. Are you
Like
still
I mean, I'm just saying like I feel like maybe it
Nah.
works inversely where all the people who would have been bad actually just end up going to VR or AR and they're like, you know what? Maybe I don't have to be a bad guy outside in the real world.
That is an argument that people have with the current stuff where it's a very, I see where it comes from, and I feel like the justification for it is a little weird because you're siding with the other side, but you're saying it's not a bad thing. Where you're saying like, hey, listen, like, yeah, they are killers, but they're getting their rocks off in the game and not in real life. And I'm like, that is such a like you think you're helping, but I don't know if you understand what you're fully saying right now.
Hey, hey,
But
hey, hey, hey,
that
hey, hey.
context in the future, hey, maybe when that happens, it's like maybe that it would make society a safer place. All those people will keep it in there. But I think about like Sword Art Online, right? Those people, they'll do it in both places. That's the way I see it, right?
Sword Art Online, I used to get my rocks off on that one. That was such a cool anime.
No, okay. Why did saying that is wild? By the way, given how Sword Art Online ended, just like the things that happened in the last season versus what happened in like the first and second season, getting your
So
rocks off could mean a completely different
yeah,
thing.
it probably not what you're thinking, but I just thought it was cool how like you die in the game, you die in real life, and I was like, damn, dude, should be a game like that.
Wait, so do you know that there's a company that basically made a one-to-one version of that thing, and they're following the same timeline, like the year in
Are
Sword
they
Art
really?
Online. Yeah, there's like an AR helmet where the guy is like, yeah, like I want to program a thing where like if as long as you sign the waiver or whatever, it can kill you. And I'm like, what?
That'd be wild.
Would you not truthfully, would you if the game was good, right? Because it
Would
can't be a
I?
garbage game, but would you do
Yeah, it's
that?
gotta be a good game.
Yeah, it has to be like it has to be a game that's fair though, right? You wouldn't sign up for something that's not fair.
Yeah, it'd have to be fair.
But that's so hard.
See, it's hard because I got a wife. I want to have a family, but let's say I didn't have anything, right? I'm just
Uh-huh.
just a singular guy. I'd probably
Yeah.
do it.
Eh,
Would you?
if I was hmm. The circumstances you described is one so dystopian because then you could start applying like into like that's a sad like I got nothing going for me. Why not just put it into this game and then like
Well, okay. Hear me out though. So when growing up,
uh-huh.
I think I've told you this before, but I always wanted to be like a federal agent.
Uh-huh.
Have I ever told you that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's solely because like I was like, man, I always wanted to be alone. Like I just would do my own thing. And back when I was growing up, I was like, dude, agents were super cool because they were just hired by the government to go around and kill people. And it would all be legal, right?
Okay.
Let's say I'm working for like the White House. You're like, hey, there's this criminal. You can assassinate him. You can kill whoever you want. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, oh, dope, dude. Like I would so freaking do that. So originally, when I went to college and my entire career path, it was leaning towards that. That's what I wanted to become.
Mm-hmm.
But and
Mm-hmm.
then the family gets involved, and then not like my mom and dad, but like more like girlfriend's wife, like everything like that. I want to
Yeah.
have a kid one day, and then that it steps in the way, and that's totally fine. I feel like I value that more. But originally, I had nothing going. I was like, if I die on the job, it is what it is. That's what I
Yeah.
signed up for. So that's
Yeah.
why, at least for me, I'm not too worried about the whole like, oh, it's a sad reality. It's like, no, it's the reality I always wanted. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think for me specifically, and it was a reoccurring thing, but it made a lot more sense once I was diagnosed, was for whatever reason, I have this like instinct of like my body goes into like this mode where if I'm in danger, it like has an autopilot setting where it's like it's set like a self-preservation mode
Yeah.
where like for example when I tore my ACL, um these Japanese I was playing soccer at international setting, so I was super excited. There's like Brazilian players, Italian players, players from all over the world, and this Japanese dude. It was like there was a like basically borderline professional league, and then like a more intramural league, right? And so I played in the intramural thing, and which I shouldn't have done. That was technically against the rules of the leagues that I signed up with, because I was already on multiple teams, and they're like, you can't play outside of this team, blah blah blah. You can't blah blah blah. Like and obviously I skirted that. But this Japanese kid drop kicked me while we were playing, and like
You
out of
killed them.
frustration, and that's what tore my ACL, because it was while I was running. So the moment I planted my foot, he just hit me from the back, and what happened was my leg popped out of socket. I had a hairline fracture, but I didn't know that. I tore my ACL, all of that. What my mental, like I don't even remember the instances, but what ended up happening was I ended up instantly grabbing my leg and rolling on
Yeah.
the ground, and I popped it back in on my own, and then when I was like my consciousness came back, essentially I was holding my leg, it was perfectly fine in like the socket whatever, and I just stood up, and I was like, and I like got up, and I just like did one of these with my leg, and I was like, oh yeah, seems good, seems good. And then everyone's like, no, 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 hold on, we gotta call the paramedics.
It was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, because like there was people overseeing those games and stuff like that, and so they called the paramedics, which is protocol. But they were kind of like they were like, wait, is he fine? Like we just saw his leg bent the other way, and then and then you just got up and like, but I didn't sense that. All I know was I just did like this maneuver on the ground, like I hit the ground, I rolled, grabbed my leg, it was fine, stood up, but everybody else saw my leg bent out of the my thing. And so like various times in my life where that's happened, where like something is, and I explained on the last thing where it's like some random self-preservation thing just kicks in, and I just do some random stuff, which is like, you know, the diagnosis of my cancer, very similar way, whereas like I just felt like I had a sixth sense and my body was telling me, and then I was right, I just like put the clues together and I figured it out. So in that context, I don't think that I would be, you know, signing up for risky things. I don't know what it is. Something doesn't let me be risky.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing. Like
Self-preservation. I mean, that's. I mean, I feel like that's normal though, right?
it is, but like to the point where like in college, right, or in high school,
Yeah.
I stayed away from like, you know, drugs or anything like that. Not because like I thought that I was better. I just felt like they were unsafe at that age because like my
The DARE program got to you.
not necessarily that, but like because you know, fast forward a few years, once my brain developed, like I was like, you know, let's go try some things, right? And it was definitely dope. But you know, when I was younger, I just couldn't bring myself to do it for the sake of like, I don't want to disrupt my brain's development. I don't want to shoot like, and we didn't have, not that we didn't have as much, but like those other proliferary stuff, we didn't understand the full context of it. But the reason why I remember thinking so deeply about it was because at the time I was like, not at the time, but I was always afraid of like Alzheimer's, like my parents like possibly getting that being like a
Yeah.
weird, like that's like one of the most cursed existences, like living an entire life being healthy but then just not remembering anything. um Definitely a fearful one. But at the time, melatonin,
All the
melatonin.
homies hate. All the homies hate it.
What? All the homies say what?
Alzheimer's.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But melatonin was the thing that we found out like around like, I think like the end of high school, my that time, where you know, long-term use of melatonin puts gaps in your brains. And I'm like, if it's something as simple over the counter as melatonin can do that, I ain't trying to rock my shit before it's like fully developed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me beat it up once it's there. But like if I screw it up before, and it's like like my wife would be like, it's one time, it's fine. I'm like, I couldn't bring
That's how they
myself
get
to
you.
do it. I just
That's how they
couldn't.
get you.
Like it would be like my best friends, and I'm just like, yeah, like I have nothing against you, go for it, right? We go out, I'm chilling. But I just couldn't do it. And then and it's like this self-preservation thing, completely fine with it, right? But like I'm nothing against it, which is kind of funny. I always go back to the like, there's something that I call it like an unfun setting, but hey, it ended up
Hey, I mean, I'm the
bringing
same
me
way.
yeah.
Like all I do is drink. Like I don't do any like drugs or anything.
Yeah,
I don't even smoke
see,
anymore.
I agreed, which might sound weird to a viewer considering how different we are with some of the things. But I know where you're coming from with the unfun setting. There's just some things that just like clicking, like, yeah, I don't really care for this right now, you
Yeah,
know?
they're always like, "Hey, you want to do something?" I was like, "No, dude, I'm chilling. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to smoke. I'm good. Trust me.
Are you a roller coaster person?
I don't like roller coasters.
You don't like, okay, why don't you
No,
like roller
I don't fuck with
coasters?
roller coasters.
Why? I need to know the reason.
So when I was a kid, here in
Uh-huh.
Oklahoma, there's only like one theme park, like Frontier City. But
That's a gross name, but continue.
yeah, there's like this
Yes.
ride. It's in every amusement park out there, but it's
Can
like
I
a
just
giant
pause real quick?
pirate ship that just does this, right?
I just want to pause you real quick. Like, it's an amusement park. Like, what part of that name it makes me amused and want to go
It's
Frontier City?
Frontier City. What do you mean? That's cool.
That just, it sounds like I'm going to a town. I don't know. It's like it's so adjacent to just going to
No, like
like New
it's
York
New
City.
Frontier Pawn or Pawn. It's a new frontier.
Like
It's
if
Frontier
I
City.
told if I had guests like flying in internationally, right? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna go to Frontier City. They would just think I'm going to like a city, like, you know what I mean? Like they don't have that context versus like Six Flags. It's like at least that's weird. Like, what flags? Like,
Six Flags is weird. No,
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 no.
no, no, like
Frontier City is way better.
okay. Okay, what's a good one? What's a Disney World. Disney World's a cool one, right? Because it's like a world, right? Like that's kind of like, at least for a kid. But like Frontier City, like unless you have the context, it's not that interesting.
Maybe, but yeah,
You,
either
we
way,
got
let's just say my first tattoo was Frontier City.
we gotta rate amusement park names. That's all. That oh, can we end this? Can we talk about that at some point? That's kind of fun.
That'll, that'll be how we finish off.
But go back to the pirate ship thing. Go back to the pirate ship
So
thing.
the pirate ship, I'm sure you guys know what ride I'm talking about. It's a giant pirate ship. It can fit like 50 people, and you just they put like one bar that just bolts down right beside you, and then you just ride back and forth. And every swing it gets higher and higher.
Uh huh.
And the thing with this ride is that the way they put you down, it's not a seat belt, it's not a harness. It's literally just one bar that plops down, and then you're supposed to believe it locks you in place. But it's a one size fits all bar.
Uh huh.
So if you're bigger or smaller, you're kind of scuffed, right?
Yeah.
As a kid, I was definitely smaller in frame.
Uh-huh.
So whenever it would fly up to the highest point, I would get lifted off my seat a little bit, and I would start slipping out of the bars. So I had to hold on for dear life and push my feet down and sludge into the seat. And it scared me because like, dude, like if I just didn't hold on to this bar, I just fly off and I'm just
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah. 100%.
So and there's been a couple of rides, not just that ride, but like a couple of other rides are almost the same way, where it's like, oh, it's a fun ride, it's cool, I moved at fast speeds, wow. But if I just let go of this bar, if there's like one bolt missing from this, or if I had my phone in my pocket, like there's just so many things that can go wrong in a roller coaster that I just don't think it's worth the risk.
Yeah.
And you could be saying, oh, Sai, you're willing to die as an FBI agent, but you don't want to ride on a roller coaster. Hear me out. If I'm dying as an agent, I'm dying on the battlefield, right?
You
Like,
have control,
somebody's gonna shoot
or
me, right?
you put yourself
Even on
in that
Sword Art Online.
situation, right? Whereas like,
Yeah, I put myself there.
like and the thing about roller coasters, I'm the same way. I'm glad you said it. It's like, I went to engineering stuff, right? Like at school, I got to understand it. It's like even in like Boeing, right? They have mechanical failure all the time. You're telling me like
It happens.
like we have to sell people to trust planes, but then those same people will sign up to go on a roller coaster. And it's like, you do know who built
Roller
those
coasters
things?
are more
Like,
dangerous than planes.
yeah, do you know, like the thing is, when I was a kid, I just never cared for roller coasters. My brother did, my mom did, me and my dad, we didn't, we always sat out. And I went on, when I was like really young, I went on a kid one, right? And no joke, this was like the first roller coaster I remember, and I'm pretty sure I've ever been on. A bolt fell and hit me on the face, and I started bleeding. And so like we got off the ride, and I'm just like randomly bleeding. My dad's like, how did that happen? I was like, oh yeah, like a screw fell and hit me. And he's like, what? And I was just like, yeah. And I was like, I didn't like bug out on the ride because I was just like chill. I was like focusing on
Processing
that.
it.
Yeah. And then when we got off, I was just like, God, this is my exact
Wait a
word.
minute.
Yeah. And, like I was thinking about the self-preservation thing. Another time it kicked in. I don't know if I brought it up here. With my orthodontist. So something told me my orthodontist was a crackhead, right? My brother went to him. That guy was like, he made
Something
his
told
way.
you, it was like whispered in your ear, yeah, this guy's a crackhead.
Yeah, this guy is an absolute duck, like absolute quack. Like no shot he has a medical license, right? I was like maybe like 13 or whatever. And I remember we went there, and I like experienced him for like 2 months. And I was like, I told my parents like, I will either we go there and get this braces removed, or I will remove them myself. There's two options, and you choose. And so they were like, all right, like we'll go back and get it canceled. And I was like, yeah, this guy fucked. He one messed up my teeth, with my other dentists completely agree. But then on top of that, I was right as a what, like a 13, 14, 12-year-old, whatever. Had the foresight that when I was like 16, 17, 18, he got sued for a medical malpractice by like, he had 4 lawsuits and he had to close down. And so I was like, yo, that you can't tell me that, like, yeah, as a 12-year-old, I figured out that he's a stupid doctor. Sure. No, something told me that guy was crazy. And the same thing, something speaking to me, bro. Like I look at this roller coasters. As a kid, I was like, nah, bro, I just like, I can't trust whoever built this. No offense to that person, but like, you don't care about it, like, unless, and the people who maintain the rides, the people that make the rides function, they don't care about it either. You think that they're passionate about like the rides and the screws and they're checking every bolt? No, absolutely not, right? And like also a lot of these rides are exposed to the environment, so it's like there's also like
Yeah, they don't like put a cover over it every night and be like, okay, look at this, like roller coaster XYZ is doing good today. No
yeah,
rust on it.
yeah, absolutely not. They do not care about that. And so on top of that, like knowing architecture and infrastructure, that kind of stuff, I showed as weird as it sounds, my roommate, he was studying architecture at the time. He graduated biomed, but he's doing architecture. He really loves that. we, I took her to like a restaurant, whatever, back where I used to live in Jersey, and there was like this underground kind, not underground, like this pseudo underground building that was built on the side of a cliff, and you can see its support frame on the outside of how it maintains there, and you can understand how it was originally built and how they adjusted it over the years. And they literally just like they added like cement blocks, and they just like added like a steel beam, like you can tell. And I'm like, yo, like one time my wife was like, do you want to live here, before we knew about that. And then when I looked at it, I was like, absolutely
No, I got a
not.
bad feeling.
Yeah,
Like the
absolutely.
sixth sense.
And like that's like a like maybe I just know nothing about architecture, but I brought that friend there and I showed him that. He's like, no way, no shot that this entire building is built like that. And I was like, it's not just one spot. And we walked around the entire garage, and I pointed out all the things I saw.
All the safety
And he's just
hazards.
like, yo, this is crazy that this is like passing code. And I'm like,
It
I don't,
probably isn't, to be
yeah,
honest. Or
yeah,
they're like paying them off or something.
1000%. And that was in light of the Florida stuff where I don't know if you remember, like I think it was like last year or beginning of last year, where like the random Miami buildings just like collapsed, and like it was an absolute like crazy situation.
All I've heard about, I mean, I thought you were gonna go with the roller coaster one. Like going back to roller coasters,
I
like
mean, yeah, we
a
could go
roller
back to
coaster
roller coasters.
malfunctioned like I think a year or two ago, and it killed like I think 2 or 3 girls. And I was like, oh god,
There's so many of
I'm not
those
going on those
things where
roller
it's like
coasters, bro.
like you don't even need to be an engineer. Sometimes I could just look at something and like, yeah, no thought was put into this one for sure.
Yeah,
There's like 9 ways this thing goes wrong, and it's like a godsend that it didn't go wrong. But like you,
big coasters, and let me tell you real quick. You might say, Asai, Par, more people die on airplanes than roller coasters. Well, big roller coaster doesn't want you to know about those deaths. They pay off the
yeah,
families.
you sign a waiver, whereas like the airplane, they don't even get,
That's public, bro.
yeah, they can't. It's harder for them to get away with that one, right? Whereas the roller coaster is like, there's probably other situations. Actually, I heard about that recently where like some
What, something about
slingshot
big
ride.
coaster?
Yeah, something about that. I mean, going back to the roller coaster, I think my biggest problem is like it's kind of like a headline thing. I always go back to a headline thing. Like I asked my wife, I was like, you know how dumb it would be, like, no, my condolences to all the people that passed away in this way, right? But at the same time, my thing is like, imagine I do, this is the way I go and I pass away. And
On
it's
a
like
roller
on a roller
coaster.
coaster. And it's like
It's so cursed.
I would, that's like one of the ways that I would be so spiteful that I would remain on this planet and haunt the amusement park so nobody else would go there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would do that
You'd be the
100%.
ghost of the amusement park.
Yeah, it's like I feel like there's certain ways that you just go, right? Like if people are wrong, like not wrongfully killed, but killed, like, and then they haunt the people. I'm like, yo, that is how the world should
That's
work,
fair.
right?
That's
Right?
fair.
I,
Yeah.
I feel like if I were a god, right? Like we go back to the other thing, I would allow for ghosts. Like I would allow like people to like
Vengeful spirits
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because then it's like
of
you would have,
ill-timed deaths.
imagine how
I
little
agree.
crime you'd have if the ramifications, you got haunted and like this ghost can like take you over. Like
Nobody would
nobody's
commit crime. They're like, oh
nobody
fuck,
would commit
dude. I don't want to
crime,
get
right?
haunted, man.
Like you'd
That's
only have
cursed.
like, embezzlement. It's like, yeah, like maybe like, the hundreds and thousands of people they stole money from, they're not that spiteful that they'd haunt you. But like, unless you go to like what Bernie Madoff level, kind of like that situation. But like, yeah, if I died on a roller coaster, you bet your ass I'm haunting people 100%.
I would too.
Yeah, that's like,
I wouldn't haunt the amusement park, but I'd haunt like the people who made it and like let it pass all of its safety checks.
yeah, yeah. So like when it comes down to it, like we put ourselves in a situation. My wife, like, oh, do you want to do this? I think about the headline. I'm like, is this, if I read a headline like, oh, this dude had a bright future, died on a roller coaster. Like, is that something I could live with? I don't know. Right? Like, if like that's a tough one, you know? And that's a thing that you signed on for. Skydiving is separate. Like, I feel like skydiving is one of the crazy, like one of those ones where it's like, I'm afraid of heights. I would still do it. And if you pass away skydiving, it's like not it's not the same thing as
It's
roller
not a
coaster.
it's not a huge L.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be
Skydiving is
worse.
kind of crazy. You know what's real quick? I just
What's
remembered
up?
a TikTok that I wanted to bring up. Apparently, there was a girl. I sent you a TikTok. This girl survived falling with no parachute from like 20,000 feet, and she just
Was
hit
she
the
conscious or unconscious?
she was unconscious when she was, I think she was falling and she hit.
I think we talked about this actually.
No, I don't think we did. I
It,
don't think we
it
did.
sounds so familiar.
Maybe we did. No, I don't think we did. There's no way. Because it was TikTok I just sent this week where she had like a person on her back, right? And apparently they pulled the cords, but they pulled the two cords at the same time, so the both parachutes came out and tangled up.
Oh
And
no.
so it didn't fully
Oh,
deploy.
that's
And
scary.
you know, truthfully, I never, usually in the comment section you get the details, but apparently the guy got like strangled and he got like passed out, and I don't know if he lived, but she just hit the ground and he was on top of her, and apparently she lived. And I'm like, what? What in the hell? And
It's a medical mystery.
yeah, and like I think she's like like one of those motivational speakers or whatever, like
Yeah, I
that
mean, you
kind
kind
of
of have to be after that, right? Like, hey, I
thing.
survived this. You could survive this.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, that's like that's not the same thing as a roller coaster. Like, you can't survive a roller coaster and then become a motivational speaker, right? Like, I feel like someone who survived falling from the sky, I would listen to them. Someone who survived a metal death trap car, yeah, yeah.
Eh,
You know,
I
not.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm almost curious because I feel like we've been making enemies of our own not constituents, but our listeners, and I feel like this our entire viewership is gonna be like, yo, I
It's
love
gonna
roller
plummet after
coasters.
this.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, after the roller coaster takes, I couldn't watch them anymore.
They're like the roller coaster take, the Mars take.
Uh,
Like, I like to imagine we just made so many people mad.
I feel, you know what's funny?
That'd be
Like, your
hilarious.
wife, and mine, truthfully, like, of all the things that we could have been canceled over, roller coasters and Beyblade. Like,
It's not that bad.
yeah. But
It could be
imagine,
worse.
like, imagine that's our actual like drama that ends up hitting us, like, oh, destroying our fandom is like we some lukewarm thing like roller coasters. Oh God. Oh
Hey, at least it'd
jeez.
be lukewarm rather than something like super controversial, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of, interesting.
It could be worse.
There's so
Well,
many things I want to bring up in terms of that.
I
Uh
think we're almost hitting 2 hours, aren't we?
we're closing in. We're at
Like hour
140.
hour 40.
Yeah, about there. I was trying to think. Like, I wanted to create segments, right, on the thing. So
Yeah.
like, one thing I was thinking was like, we create a 2020 vision segment, but I kind of already did it without saying it, where the point of that was like, I read a comment out or something, like, and so that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So then, because I kind of like that, like when people comment, like highlighting certain comments,
I
we go
read
through.
I read every single comment.
Yeah. So like that part of the segment, which I already did, like that could be one of the segments. But then also a cyanide segment, which would be like a poisonous
Where we
stick.
talk about our business ideas.
Yeah, honestly, that the cyanide segment has nothing to do with like poison. It's just like us talking about business things. I'm trying to think if there was a. I feel like I sent a few Shark Tank things to you, but nothing's coming on the top of my head. So, do you want to close off this one running through the top 25 amusement park names real quick and just putting our
Well,
thoughts down?
yes. Well, we'll do like a one sentence thought on each roller coaster name. I didn't know if you had it pulled up or not.
I
What do you
got it
got?
pulled up. It's interesting. All right, so it's a list of 25, and just real quick. So the first one is, this is the best amusement parks in America, which
Okay.
maybe there's like a worldwide one that's better. I would imagine international amusement parks are probably better than. Nah, U.S. is the
I
king
feel
of
like
amusement.
I would trust international theme parks rather than American ones.
So should I look up a different list then?
No. We're
Stick
not
with
talking
the.
about safety. We're talking about names,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Wait, you trust international ones more? I mean, it depends on the country, right?
Depends on the country.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
not. Yeah,
Yo, the
depends on the country.
Bangladesh is, oh my God, a crazy. This is actually a real thing. This is one of the. This is like so quick aside, but breezing through this part, just digest this. I know a few billionaires in that part of the world, and when you get to that and you have that level of money and you're in that part of the world, you get disconnected from humanity. And there's a few kids that still retain it, but they have a side to them that I like. I'm the kind of person that like I I'm like, yo, think about it. You're kind of wild for it. And then they were sat back and like, that's not wild. Like I was like, really, what did you just say? So there's an amusement park that opened up, and all these like mega rich kids got early access to the amusement park. I'm sitting here as an American, and I'm like, ain't no way you're convincing me on a roller coaster. One, two, my brother loves roller coasters and still was like, ain't no way. He went on a roller coaster over there. I was like, listen, if you passed away on this, that's honestly your fault. You went to a
You're
third
gonna
world
look goofy.
country
Let me tell you.
and went to an amusement park in a
You had
third
all
world
the
country, bro.
signs, all the red flags.
Right? And so these mega rich kids know that, and they went into an experimental amusement park that their parents essentially built, and there's no oversight on the thing. And the problem with Bangladesh also is they don't have a great power structure, so a power infrastructure. So your power outages are very common in third world countries, and that's
Oh,
the biggest issue, where I'm like, you think that they have generators? Absolutely not. And so
they just discovered water yesterday.
I mean, memes aside, it's like
Their sewer system just got implemented.
these kids, right? A few of them got stuck on a roller coaster because the power went out for like 4 hours and nobody could save them. And I'm like, what? And then on top of that, if that was enough, someone died on that. And I'm like, and it wasn't
Wait,
even because of that.
how? Wait,
Normal
4 hours?
operation. It was like
Altitude or like?
it was like a poor design of the thing, like a cart malfunction or some shit
Oh
like that.
God.
Yeah, it
Wait,
was
wait.
some.
Like that's how they died?
It was like the main roller coaster. I didn't get the details of it, but like
Yeah.
the sources were protecting me from the details.
Yeah.
Um,
They
um,
paid him off.
but exactly, no, 100%.
Yeah. They're
And
like, hey, clean water for 2 days.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, the kids I knew, they still rode the ride afterwards. I was like, they didn't fix it? No. And I'm like, what? And then like this is what they said. There's like a certain amount of thrill knowing that you could die. And I'm like, no, hold on.
Not on a roller coaster though.
I'm
Come
like,
on.
let's talk
If it's
real
like David
quick.
versus Goliath, right? Like, sure, why not?
Yeah, I know,
But a roller coaster, man.
but that's how disconnected that they were, that they have so much money that everything in the world is given to them, and they on their own can afford like what most of the world cannot afford. They're that disconnected that like their currency is their life, because they've lived such a protected one all that time. And I'm like, listen, let's sit down
They
and
would
have a
kill for sport
conversation.
100%.
Hey, I'm not. I don't want to say names, but I know people. Okay, it's
You hear
scary
that?
out there.
So far, he knows your dirty secrets, and he said he's willing to air them soon if you don't
An
come
expose.
close to the ransom.
Listen,
Yeah.
it's crazy the things out there, because I'm underselling it. I don't even like. I know some of the stuff, but bro, it's a crazy world. And like when you get to that level, absolutely, that's why the international ones even scare me even more, because like at a certain extent I'm like, damn, are these built for that like exact reason? Because at least America's like known for the amusement thing, but if you're going to a third world country and going to an amusement park in there, that's some twisted amusement there for
See,
sure.
when I was thinking of other countries, I immediately went to like Japan, right?
Japan, yeah.
Because I've been to a Japan amusement park and it's like it's really safe. Like there's so many safety precautions. You know, everybody's so nice.
I trust Japan. I trust Japan
Yeah,
more.
like I trust Japan.
I feel like that's one of the things where it's like they could push me to do a lot of things that are outside of my comfort zone just because it's Japan, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's like, man, the mortality rate in Japan is, it's pretty solid, right? It's sitting where a lot of countries would want to be.
right.
Their birth rate maybe not, but you know what? Like
I can
it is
teach
what it
them a
is.
thing or two about birth. No, I'm joking, I'm
Yeah,
joking.
I can drop a couple of fat loads on the sidewalk if that's what they want.
Oh my god, that was one of the crazier things when that like the birth rate news came out. So many like self-proclaimed Giga Chads like, oh, I could single-handedly fix that. Like, no, listen,
I can be Genghis Khan.
yeah, it's like come on, you saying that is the reason why you're not that guy, but
Their birth rate is still declining to this day. Rip. No
that is a
matter what
sad
they're
one.
doing, it's just not working. I'm looking at it right now. It's so sad.
It is sad.
It's not updated to. Oh, it is updated. Never mind. Yeah, it's still not looking good.
There's more and more. I actually, this is another TikTok that I saw. More and more content creator. Swedish. What is PewDiePie? Is he Swedish?
Yeah.
Swedish. There's like a whole clan of Swedish like people moving there and like buying up stuff, and they're all content creators. I'm like, what? A bunch of it's so crazy to me. So many content creators in our space and outside of our space actually just like move to Japan and use
Dude,
their
if I
money
could,
to.
I would too. Shit.
Yeah.
It's so nice there. Like, it's a very different society. Like, I know we talked to Zonin earlier this week, and you know he listed a bunch of things about Japan that were good and bad. But honestly, when I went, I just saw like nothing but good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
The
all
only bad thing was
perspective.
that I had tattoos and didn't speak Japanese.
Honestly,
I look like a gang member.
some of the negative
Even
stuff
though I'm like
that
really nice.
Zonin brought up, I was like, you know, I actually appreciate that. That's actually I
Yeah.
appreciate that system a little bit more than what we have right now, where, you know, like I almost think so one to give the viewers clarity, it's like in Japan, especially if you want to go to Japan, um you if you want to see something, right, like go to like a popular cafe, you should make reservations way in advance, because there's just so many people who want to go, whether it's tourists, whether it's people there. A lot of your trip has to be pre-planned, and that can get obnoxious, especially if it's like a day-to-day thing and it's like you want to see a certain thing and then you have to like it makes that kind of a thing a little bit difficult. But spontaneity is a cool thing, and that's not lost there necessarily, but it it's a lot better than what I see in America, where it's like lines are so obnoxious, like where that's almost a thrill of it, like something drops in the city and people like waste like 6 hours waiting outside.
They
Like
go crazy for it.
I don't think I'd ever there's me and my wife talked about this, like barely anything that I would sacrifice that much time, like a person or thing, um um if it wasn't like a ticketed event. It's just like not worth it for me. But a lot of people, a lot of America, that's like a hype thing where it's like if they see a line, they don't even need to know what the line is for, they'll just
They just
join in
hop
the
on
line.
it.
Yeah, no, I've literally seen that. Where Rogers Base, another YouTube content creator, brought us to Nintendo World, and there was like some kind of like in the city, and there was like a line, and like I was in the line because I thought I was supposed to be in line, but like he's a Nintendo ambassador, and so like he was just like he had us like a separate thing, and he was like, oh, you don't need to wait in the line, blah blah blah. And we just like rolled in with him, and I was like, you know what, like that, like if you just had a ticketed system, I like, and some people in that line were like, oh, what's this line for? And then they found out what the line is for, and then they just kind of like joined. It was like not a part of their plan, but they just kind of came in, and they had no idea what was inside. But yeah, it was a super weird thing when it comes to the US. But speaking of
What's up?
lines, amusement parks, let's get through this list, because Disney World, is an interesting one because they fix lines, but
So
that's one of the saddest,
so
most obnoxious
wait. We're,
parts.
we're just going off the names, right?
Yeah, just off the names, just
Okay.
off the names. 25 of them, real quick. So the number 25 is Carowinds.
No, garbage.
Garbage. It's in North
Garbage.
Carolina. That is the 25th.
Caro wins. No, that's stupid.
Yeah, on attractionsofamerica.com, this is number 25 as best amusement park. The next one up is Holiday World in Splash and Safari.
Too long, and it sounds like Holiday Inn. No.
Yeah. And I think the actual pull of it is the city it's in. The city
What
is
city?
Santa Claus, Indiana. That is
Santa Claus, Indiana. Yeah. You know what? That's a pretty cool city
why
name.
not
They
use
get a
that?
W for that one. They get a W for that one.
Like how hard would it have been to just name it Santa's workshop, right? Like Santa's sweatshop surely would have been more viral. Like oh man, they could have
Santa
created.
Claus, Indiana.
Yeah, that's such an
What a
interesting
name.
place. Yeah, for sure. what an L on the name, but then also a W on the city name.
What a time to be alive to witness that name.
Yeah, imagine like back in the day, I would imagine people chose where they lived like based off of the names. Like oh, I'm from Santa Claus, Indiana. Do you think that
I
was
mean,
like
yeah. If you had to choose, I feel like that'd be a cool name.
yeah, like in the wild wild west, like if you were like next to like Little Rock and Santa Claus, which one would you rather? Would you want to be from? Oh, I'm Cy from Little Rock, or do you want to be Cy from the Grand Canyon? You know what I mean? Like I'd rather be from the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree. You're not gonna catch me disagreeing with that.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a just to get it on the ID for sure. Santa Claus is a dope one. The next one, dang, it's kind of low on this. Wow, Universal Studios Hollywood.
Universal Studios, I think that's a fine name. I give that one a pass because Universal fine. Studio, maybe not.
Yeah, but it's also
Yeah,
not
50%
clickbait.
of it's cool.
It's not clickbait because it's the
Yeah, it's actually what it is. Universal Studios.
yeah, and
Yeah,
they just made the theme park around their movies, which
it
is
works.
honestly, as a child, that's one of my I love that like childhood memory of like the Jaws and like the King Kong, like those like the ones where you're in the cart and it goes in the water and like they
It's
just
so, I've
they
never been to Universal, but it's just so expensive. Like, was it worth all the money you spent?
I mean, I was a kid. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
we went there on my dad's like business kind of like he still had like residuals for that. So like there was like some kickbacks when it came to that traveling. I'm pretty sure like some kind of credit card business kind of thing. One way or the other. No way we went there full price. Absolutely not. Doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. But honestly, when it comes to like kids going there, I think it was worth it. I do remember I was also a kid that had I downloaded a consciousness very early on, and so like my memory is intact from like when I was like 2 or 3. But when I went to those experiences, yeah, I can remember them vividly. Like they were a lot of fun, especially back in the day. I don't know if they innovated since then, but especially if they innovated, I think it's worth it to give your kid a memory like that for sure. For sure, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd say once they get to the age of like remembering stuff, I think Universal's like an investment.
1000%. I definitely like that's one of it's like a pseudo roller coaster where it's like you get an experience and it's obviously not the same thing as like like an no airbags, like no cushion metal death trap that's moving as fast as a vehicle. Like
I was
on
gonna say skydiving, roller coasters, all that good stuff.
yeah, this is like it's like max going like 10 miles per hour, but like it's like you're going through water and terrain and it's like an experience, right? Um, which takes us to the next one. SeaWorld Orlando.
SeaWorld's kind of cool. I don't
SeaWorld.
care about the Orlando part.
SeaWorld's branding goes kind of hard, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's cool. That's a cool name they got going on.
they're still not canceled despite every controversy they had. They should have been canceled. And not even like from a PETA standpoint. Like the killer whales were so oppressed that they were like eating people, right? Like that shit is crazy.
That's kind of cool. Hey, they're putting the killer back in the name. I'm down with it.
Yeah, like we brought like these animals into like it's such a sad thing, especially back in the day. Right now it's still sad, but they incorporated so many quality of life improvements and it's still oppressive. But you gotta imagine when we were kids, it's like yo, they were messed up. Like the thing I just saw an aquarium where like these sharks were in the same place as like other animals. I'm like, and people were like, wait, how come they're not eating them? I'm like, because they're well fed. So like if the killer whales are like eating people, like I mean
They're not well fed. I mean, hey,
there's
Par,
something
I just gotta
there.
say right here, it's not easy to feed whales.
Yeah,
But you gotta cut costs somewhere.
and
I agree.
and whether it's not just the feeding thing but to satiate what it takes for like an animal, right? It's more than just food. Clearly like their social well-being wasn't well and then they started eating their trainers and like that's like yeah, like they're smart enough to know what that means. So SeaWorld got the branding. Next one is Busch Gardens Tampa Bay.
Busch Gardens, that's kind of cool.
Busch Gardens. I've never
Busch
heard of that.
Gardens,
What is that?
I'm down with that.
That sounds
Busch
like
and
a
Garden.
that sounds like a golf course kind of
I
thing.
feel like I've heard of that before.
That sounds like
Busch
a
Gardens.
Mar-a-Lago kind of thing.
I feel like I've heard good things about Busch Gardens. I
Sounds
don't
so
know.
bougie. I gotta click on it
It
now.
does.
It sounds super bougie. I just want to know if this is actually bougie. Um, you know what? Off these pictures,
Not bad.
they look like normal people, and it looks like a place. Hey, it looks cool.
Hey, it looks like people would go there.
Yeah, it looks legit. Number 20 is SeaWorld San Diego. SeaWorld again. So
Skip that one.
19 Six Flags.
We already talked about that one. Boring.
I think the best part of Six Flags is the song. That is my favorite thing. The do
I
do do do
hated the
do do.
song.
Dude, no,
No,
you
no.
don't like
Dude, theme songs are gross.
wait. That one went so hard. I
No, it
literally
didn't.
went
It
around
didn't.
doing that. Like I would play soccer and I would just like run by someone using the theme song. I'm like do do do
If you
do.
played if I ever played you in soccer or football and you were humming that song, dude, like as a kid, you can't do much, but I'd like try to break your leg or like nutmeg you as
I
many times
didn't
as
I
possible.
didn't do it in games, but I did it in practice, right? I was just like, cause like I
No,
memed on my teammates so
I'd get
hard.
expelled. No, that's gross.
Yo, it was so much fun. It was like me uh I mean the way I am was people would jump on it. So then I would do it and then other people it would just be like a clan of people just going like not like that, but like we'd go into a hymn, you
I'd
know what I
quit the
mean?
team. No, I'd be out. I'd be so out. If you got
Yeah.
the whole team to do that, I
No, not the whole team,
like,
not the whole team. That's
bro,
excessive. But a few people would meme around with me a little bit,
you'd catch me
Especially,
hanging from the ceiling.
I think I remember I did it more during Hell Week, where like Hell Week wasn't necessarily hell later on, but you gotta do something to get by, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta do something. Okay, Six Flags, Nickelodeon Universe.
I never
Nickelodeon.
liked the name Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I mean Nickelodeon's. Well, that's a company that we should talk about on the
I like
podcast.
Nickelodeon, but
Have you heard of all the controversy with Nickelodeon?
yeah,
Oh my god, that's crazy, and it's
with like Dan
real,
Schneider.
dude. That dude
Yeah,
is so weird, so weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a feet guy. He's through and through. You know what? We can hate him, but let me tell you, man, the guy could worship hella feet, bro.
Then the things beyond that is kind of scary, but that's a conversation
Yeah,
for a different
yeah,
day.
but minus the memes, he's a little bit of a predator, believe it or not.
Yeah, a little
Hey,
bit
hey,
is crazy.
me and Par, we chuck up the brewskis and slap each other's thighs, laughing at Dan Schneider and memeing about him. But in reality, he's not a good guy.
Yeah. And we don't say that lightly about that. This dude has a paper trail, and he's not hiding it. He's absolutely
Yeah,
not hiding it.
he brought us some goofy shows, but let me tell you, behind the goofiness was a feet man through and through.
A scary feet man. Being a feet man, fine, but
A
being a
feet man in
scary
power.
like that's
Okay, a feet man in power amongst a bunch of kids.
yes. So you can
Yeah,
see how that's
just
problematic.
not a great guy.
Yeah. And
All right. Okay, can I buy 1 second real quick?
yeah.
I'll be right back. I heard something.
Gotcha. Hey, to give you guys some context, I might just leave this in, but yeah, maybe we should talk about the Nickelodeon thing. It keeps on coming back because the whole all of the celebrities that could have been such great people, and then that dude ruined. Huh, that is honestly a good one. Wait, hold on. Actually, something that I'm curious about is we got a lot of people watching Loving Beyblade. Disney, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. Rate them in the comment section. Which one was your sauce? I'm actually gonna ask Sai that. Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Disney. I think those are the main ones. Dang, if I were to make, I think Cartoon Network, Disney, Nickelodeon. But Nickelodeon had SpongeBob too, and Fairly Odd Parents. Oh wait, maybe the next episode is just all nostalgia TV shows. Ooh, I think I like that. Ooh. Maybe I'll act like uh maybe I don't bring it up here and then see if Sai listens to this part of the podcast, because I probably might just upload it anyways with this part in, and then just blindside him with the next time. And then he'll look at the comment section because you'll all say it, and then he'd be like, "Wait, when did we talk about that?" And then he'll realize I left this part in. It'll be an interesting thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's so many things. I'm right now. I'm stalling for Sai only because I don't want to go back and edit this thing, and I can just upload it flat, save a lot of time. Um, and
All
there we're
right,
good. We're good. Where Sai is back.
I'm back. Sorry about that. I heard a noise in the kitchen, and I was like, it's so it's late here, right? My
Uh,
wife, she has a 9 to 5 job
uh,
or 9 to 4 job, and I was like, okay, it's either my wife is up doing something in the kitchen right now, or I'm being robbed. So I was like, I just need to check that out real quick. It was my wife. We're all good. She was making breakfast for
ah,
or making her breakfast at night, so it's ready.
gotcha. Wow, what
So I
a
just had to make sure we're good.
she's on top of things. Dang, that's crazy. Given what time it
Yeah.
is right now.
Yeah, it's like my time, almost 2 a.m.
Yeah, that's wild. So I filled up that gap while you're gone with meaningful stuff. And
With
I
Dan Schneider and his foot fetish.
no well that's I gave the comment section a thing to comment, and I also think that
Oh,
maybe this is something we could talk about on the next episode, which was childhood shows, nostalgia shows that we had. But what I asked the commenters to do was to rank Cartoon Network, Disney, and Nickelodeon. Which one did they prefer? Which one was their sauce? That kind of thing. Which one was your
I personally was a cartoon. It's a tie between Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. I'm gonna have to think about that one. But
ooh,
my first thought is like, where the goth bitches at?
damn. Yeah.
Like I know Disney Channel had Shigo. That's like the only card they have.
Teen Titans was
Nickelodeon,
kind of Teen Titans Raven.
no, yeah, Raven's a big one. That's Cartoon Network. So Cartoon
Yeah.
Network had Raven.
I think
It
Teen
had
Titans
that
alone.
one girl from Total Drama Island.
I think Teen Titan
Um,
alone like kind of like clears a lot of different childhood shows. Teen Titan
I
was
used to
so
cry
good.
at Teen Titans.
Teen Titan was so good. Yeah,
There
we're
was
gonna
one episode that always got me. Fuck. Do you know
uh
what? Wait. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that?
I made I feel like if you gave me a little bit more context, I would know. Does it have to do with the Robin stuff?
No, no, no. So when I was a kid, so I've always been like a romantic at heart. Like I said, like below or on top of like killing people, because that was always my main goal as a kid. And
Uh-huh.
that shaped my whole career. There was always one thing that always toppled that, and it was just romance. Like I said, if I had a family, a
What a
wife, like
thing.
I'll toss it to the side, right?
Mm.
I'll toss aside my murderous intent and becoming a FBI hitman to just live a life like a family man. That's all I want, right? I'm a simple guy. I don't need money. Just give me a family or murder, either one.
Oh my god.
Legal murder. But in Teen Titans, there's
Uh-huh.
one episode that broke me. So do you remember the character Tara?
Yeah.
Dude, so Tara dies. Spoiler alert for like a
Spoiler.
20-year-old show.
No.
20-year-old show, like who's gonna be like, oh my god, you spoil, like, what are we gonna do? Spoil the Bible next? So Tara dies, and she was dating Beast Boy, and
Uh-huh.
it was a really sad departure, whatever. It was pretty sad in general, but that didn't hit me. What hit me was that Tara got brought back to life, reincarnated in a way.
Uh-huh.
Exactly the same, looks exactly the same, and Beast Boy runs into her on the side of the street.
At like a
And it's like, wait,
college
Tara,
campus.
yeah, yeah. He's like, Tara, is that you? And she has no memories of him whatsoever. And she's like, hey, like, you might have loved the girl that looked like me, but I'm not her. And he had to get over her in a
Mhm.
way. And that's what hit. Because if they're dead, it's like, okay, he can't do anything, right? The hope is gone and he goes through the grief, whatever. But seeing her again, just reigniting all those emotions, and then just her saying, I don't know you, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
that's
man. Like,
brutal. No, no,
they
no.
played that shit before I had to go to school at like 8 a.m. And I was like, I remember that episode came out. I wasn't bawling, but I had a tear running down my cheek. I was like, dude, I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like 12 years old. I was like, fuck,
Nah,
I don't know.
yeah, they went
That
they
got me.
they went
It
hard in
hit.
Teen
That shit
Titans.
hit.
Teen Titans was unironically probably one of like the best childhood
It was
shows
good.
for those various like heavy
Slade?
thematic. Slade, that
Slade
arc
was dope.
alone clears like 99% of
Has
other
so many
things.
good people. Like Slade, do you remember Red X?
Yes.
Dude, Red X is my favorite. I want to get a Red X mask. I've been
Yeah.
eyeballing a couple online.
Wait,
Like a bullet. I want to bulletproof it.
same. Okay, well, I don't know about the bullet. Like, sure, I don't disagree, but that's not
Dude,
what I
that
was
shit's
looking for. But
cool.
like, oh man, yeah, Teen Titans, I think like carries so hard, and there were very like kids name, Codename Kids Next Door was another one that I really liked.
That was good too. That was
Yeah.
oh father, bro. I wanted to be father. I wanted to be father.
Oh my, of course you would, of course,
Yeah.
dude.
Father, oh, what was another one? The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Jack was dope. What was it, Nurgle or was it
I don't
Nurgle?
remember the names.
Billy
Grim
and Mandy.
Adventures wasn't one that I personally loved, but it was one
Nurgle.
that I
Nurgle.
would watch. Like I would watch because I was like, this is
Nice.
like I get the humor and I have friends that like it, so I'd watch it. But it wasn't like a personal favorite, but I still watch like all of them.
Yeah.
And for a show to be able to be like that is kind of interesting. That like you don't necessarily have to like it and you can still like kind of watch it. It was a very
Well,
interesting.
another cool character from Teen Titans. I just had to look it up. You're bringing back the nostalgia. No, no, we gotta end up. We gotta stop talking about this because
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is a whole rabbit hole we could say for the next episode.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's
Killer
do it.
Moth. Do you remember Killer Moth?
Oh,
Dude, he was such a great dad, man. I want to be like Killer
yeah.
Moth.
Wait, who was his kid?
His kid was okay. So if I
Wasn't he
recall,
the
I
Nepo
forgot.
baby? The Nepo baby that wanted to marry Starfire, right? That was the Killer Moth's kid? Or was that someone else? It was like
Killer
the
Moth.
kid wanted to go to prom. It was the kid who wanted
She
to go to
wanted to go hit her. So
with
his daughter's name is
Robin.
Kitten. Kitten. She wanted to go to prom with Robin, and Killer Moth was like gonna forsake his entire bad guy persona just so his daughter can go to prom. But obviously, he was still a bad guy. And
Yeah.
the minute Robin like turned her down, Killer Moth, he was like, "We're fighting, son. Like you
Yeah.
turned down my daughter." I love that shit, dude. That was
Yeah.
so good.
Oh man, there's so
Oh
many things.
man.
Yeah, we'll okay. Comment section, let us know. Nickelodeon, Disney, Cartoon Network. I feel like there's no wrong answers, but your answer tells a lot about like where you were in your childhood too. I have a hard time choosing because I watch like probably all of them equally. Like I watched a lot of all of them.
Ooh, fence sitter, fence sitter.
I didn't watch Disney Channel for a lot of the stuff that my wife did, so I feel like I'm less of a Disney person, and I
Yeah.
think Cartoon Network was my sauce. I think Cartoon Network is 100%. I just think about like I did watch a lot of SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents. Jimmy Neutron was one of my favorite ones. Like Jimmy Neutron was a cool one
Jimmy
for me.
Neutron was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Like the movie was a little scuffed, but like man, to the Kids to the Future, that song I literally play that to my son Zenith like
You can play
now.
it at the gym.
Like I played that in the hospital when he was born. I was thinking of songs. I was like, that's a song that I love that I want him to listen
Dude,
to.
during the Teen Titans thing, like when I was a kid, I was like, bro, like why is Robin not dating this? Like why is he not dating Killer Moth's daughter, man? Like first off, you could be a villain. Second off, you got this girl, and I was like, I was a teenager. It's like, oh, she's hella cute, bro. I was like, oh,
Yo,
I don't know,
oh
man.
man,
Robin messing up. Starfire ain't it. Starfire ain't it. If it
stop.
was Robin, or not, if it was Raven, sure. You know what?
Yeah, but Starfire has that international Riz. You know what I mean? Like that Sophia
Nobody
Vergara.
cares about Starfire, bro.
She had that intern. She had that like
No,
the
no.
actual like illegal alien Riz technically. But
We need like a goth girl tier list for cartoons.
okay. See, you come to the table with that. I will definitely indulge in that. Because I
He goes
do.
bad.
Shigo is one of the ones. There was a trend recently where people discovered their sexuality through Kim Possible. They're like, "Yo, Kim Possible and Shigo made
Hey,
them feel a certain type of way." I'm like, "Hey, me too." Like,
hey,
I
me
don't
too, me
know.
too. You know, what do hey, pat him on the shoulder. You're a dime a dozen, buddy. You're a dime a dozen. Come
Yeah,
on, you're not special.
when I saw all the women saying like, "Yo," that made me realize I liked women. I was like, "Hey, you're not
Me
alone."
too.
I feel like it doesn't matter if I was a rock, bro. Like that shit would.
You'd grow like hands and feet. You'd be like watching Disney. Like when I think of Disney Channel, there's only a couple shows that pull it back. Kim Possible. I'm not a big fan of the show. I just like Shigo, but
I like Kim Possible.
That's a Raven.
That's so Raven. Oh,
That's a Raven was dope.
yeah. No,
Because
I'm
she was like
surprised. duh. Like,
And then she comes back and she's like, I got a vision.
yeah. Hey,
It's dope.
the vision. Hey, that's what's
That
funny.
was
My
crazy.
wife. I never watched that much of that story. I did watch a lot, but my wife was always like you have the real life vision moments. And if you watch my live streams before, there's times I'm just like sitting there and people like, did Par just like lag out? And like I'm
Did
like
he freeze?
thinking, and dude. Okay, so next episode, maybe it'll be like a reoccurring thing because I feel like in a single episode we can't
Talk
possibly
about
cover
cartoons.
everything, but every once in a while we'll bring back like this is a cartoon episode, right? Like
Yeah.
bring back our childhood. Okay, there's a lot of bad ways that name could have spun out in my head, so let's not figure it out right now. But it,
Childhood story time.
yeah, oh yeah. Book, bedtime stories.
Bedtime stories with Par and Sai.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Sai is
Yeah,
so
wholesome,
wholesome. Oh
wholesome.
my
Yeah,
goodness. Family
super
man,
wholesome.
right? Getting, murder, push to the side. Family man
Hey, Family
side.
Man. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Honestly, do you remember the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to fantasize about being in the Hunger Games
I mean, that's
because I just like it never made sense to me as a kid. Which it sounds like a meme, but it never made sense to me why people had to like get picked randomly. I was like, why are people not volunteering for this? Because like, first off, instant fame. Second off, like you could like kill other people from districts. What are you talking about? And,
I
and like, and you do it and you become famous. Like, I feel like there was no downside to it.
I feel like the downsides were something that you're supposed to learn throughout the course. Like I think that's the point of the movie to show you the downsides. But
No, I would
on the
perpetuate that
surface,
society so hard.
on the surface, yeah, you're not wrong. I feel like it would be an interesting thing to partake in, but I also feel like that might be a byproduct of being American, which is like, a conversation about Squid Games, right? Like Squid Games became super popular, but it wasn't popular in Korea when it was like, just another thing. But then when
Yeah.
it hit the West, it like became super viral. And I remember one of the major dialogues being like, yeah, that's a reflection on American society and like how dystopian they see it, where they're like, yeah, this is a cool
Death
concept.
games.
Ultra
Hell yeah,
billionaire
dude.
people paying for to watch like modern gladiators. And I'm like, yeah.
It's like the end of Squid Games where like they have that final match, and I'm like, bruh, take the money, man. Like I was so like, dude, just take the money and go. Like you won, you did all this. Like, get out of there.
Yeah, like I feel like there's so much you can do with the money and then you expose them backwards. It's like if you really want to make something meaningful out of it, right? You could like take the benefits, leave, and then do something about it afterwards, right? Like
And then I think the trailer, not trailer, but like they insinuate that he goes into the second Squid Game. It's like, bruh, I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
don't I don't
I mean,
remember
that's
all
that's
that.
it's cool. I mean, no, like he can start a family at that point. He's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to kill anymore.
If it takes murder to become a family man, is that so wrong?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan
Oh
of
God.
like flat out murder. I think that's really bad,
No,
right?
the follow up, not the follow up. We're
No,
gonna
no,
end this.
I'm just saying like whenever I talk about murder, it's like legal murder. It's like working for the government, being a
Good save.
federal agent, Secret Service,
Good save.
M16.
Yeah,
Yeah,
1000,
yeah, yeah.
1000%.
I don't
And
want people to
so
get that twisted and be like, "Oh, Sai's a madman." No, no, I don't think there should be murder on the street. I think that's actual like archaic.
yeah,
We don't need to go backwards in
archaic.
that regards.
Yeah, that's something that we don't need to reintroduce.
Yeah,
Monsters doing it, that's separate, right?
monsters, fantasy world, sure, why not?
Yeah, but
Real world, no.
realistically,
Please do not
yeah, don't.
attack your neighbor for no reason. You're just an asshole if you do that.
Yeah. Love thy neighbor, right.
Love thy neighbor.
And
Yeah.
so I not that I want to particularly end on that topic, but I think we have a lot of different topics to talk about in the future. We are hitting a closer to our 30 mark. And so
Holy crap.
one thing that I will say or ask to end it off, since we were talking about this, I picked out one and I want to ask you, and I feel like this could lead into a little bit of another conversation, but how do you feel about Legoland?
I love Legos. I don't give a
Yes.
wait. Hear me out. Follow up. I don't give a fuck about Legoland though.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about Legoland. My wife has told me like, "Oh, let's go to Legoland." Whatever. Like, but like
Yeah. Legos
Legos.
are dope. Like I would
Yeah.
love to build like especially if it has like a little booklet and instructions. I'm like, oh, I'm eating that up.
Yeah, we you so to this day, you'd be down to like make
So
Legos.
financially, no, because Legos
They're
are expensive.
expensive.
So I haven't bought Legos in years.
Yeah,
But
fair, same.
if I had a free set of Legos in front of me, like even a franchise I don't care about, like Star Wars, like oh here's the Death Star and here's a box 500 parts, I'd be like fuck yes,
Yeah,
I know what I'm doing tonight.
yeah.
You know?
No, the only time I bought Legos were for all like the baby cousins or whatever. Like, cause I just feel like that's such a. I feel like that's an important. It teaches you something, but it also can teach you whatever the child like gravitates to, right? If they end up liking Legos, they could like it for so whether they like making art, whether they
Yeah,
like
like
making engineering type of things.
Zodiac killer like paintings and stuff,
They can create a story, sure.
murder sets. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? To end off, Rogers Base to bring him up again. He was building a Lego thing, and they digitized the instructions, so they don't give you the instructions with the
Oh.
box. They give you a QR code, like, and I was like,
Oh, that's
what the
smart.
hell? It's smart, but also like they make you have like a login, like you have to like go through all the steps, like your parent has to have an account. I'm like that is so rude, like of like the levels that a child had to have to go like versus back in our day you just
No, I
open
think
up the
that's
box.
better.
Yeah, I mean it saves paper, but like
It saves paper and it also gets kids on the internet.
that's true. I am on board with that. I feel like there's a mix of nuanced there's a conversation to be had about introducing kids to technology because at the same
Yeah, like I think
time.
social media is different, right? Like introducing a kid to social media too early, really detrimental. But as far as like getting them, tech savvy, I feel like that's very worthwhile.
Yeah, and it has. I think it has to be done carefully because it's also something where it's like, we talked about in a previous thing where somehow the generation after us is less tech knowledgeable than our generation, which
Yeah.
is like that's such a depressing thing, but it also makes so much sense because they don't have to struggle with technology at all. Whereas like we had to debug everything, right? Like troubleshoot like oh my goodness, no one was
Hey,
helpful. There's no
thankfully
guides on
AI
the
will take
internet.
all the jobs that they won't be able to fill. And it'll be a perfect society.
Yeah. You know that I think that's another conversation we can have on a different episode where AI steps in. We've talked a lot about AI, but the job specific one. But you know, I think that's a good part
It's already taking over the service industry. I saw a robot deliver some food the other day and I was like, "Oh
Okay,
man, it's
yeah.
over."
Wait. You know, wait. Did I send you the TikTok? No, I didn't. I don't think I did. Where the people are going, they're bullying those robots.
I don't think so. Let me see.
I don't think I sent
I
it to
feel
you.
like I see so many TikToks that I feel like I have seen it.
It was the
I don't know
one
if you
where like
said
this dude was just shouting at these robots, like their name is plastered on the side, and he'll just shout like cuss words at this robot, say like, "Why are you in my way? Get out of my way!" And he'll just stand in front of them and delay them like 15 minutes. I'm like, and they don't have the capacity to move around them, and
I
it's just
feel
like
like I've
this.
seen that before, but I mean, robot bullying is a thing, and I'm like, man,
You just wait, brother.
you
Like,
just wait, dude. That robot's gonna pull you apart one day,
yeah,
and you're gonna ask for it to stop, and it's gonna be like, sorry, John, I cannot move.
it runs you over. It just instantly like electrocutes you out of safety reasons, right? Like it just tasers
Oh
your
my
ass
goodness,
and then
yeah,
runs over your body. And it's
that
a
would be
proof.
so crazy. Wait, I gotta know.
Uh-huh.
So you know how people are like being assholes to like AI and robots and stuff,
Yeah.
like the service bots. Would you, okay, let's say you're part of the Senate, right? Would you pass a bill saying that these robots can have tasers that could deploy if somebody's like actively suppressing them?
So that was
Would you sign that in?
that's crazy that you
Because I
said.
would. I would.
I was gonna say that I think that in the future, all those companies can successfully lobby for self-defense protection for these autonomous robots. I
Especially if
don't.
they're getting expensive, right? Like if I built a robot, it was $10,000 and it's supposed to deliver food, and some asshole is standing in its way, like kicking it to the side, pushing it, stealing the food. Yeah, I'd give it a taser. Like And people are gonna be like, oh, so you value a robot more than people? It's like the robot is just delivering food. It's harming nobody. This asshole is harming my product worth $10,000. That's like
Yeah.
asking, like, if somebody would have a gun if somebody breaks in your house. Like, yeah, like, because they're gonna rob me. Except this right here is like a $10,000, robot that I bought. There's like no difference. It's like somebody robbing a car, right? Would you have a self-defense mechanism in your car if you could? Yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
just
why wouldn't
haven't
you?
created one, but they're starting. There's some crazy ones. I saw a car like the Revenin or something like that. I forgot the name. It's like an electric car company. They made essentially on the central dashboard like a smoke bomb, like like the
Are you
craziest.
like Batman stuff? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and I'm like,
cool.
yo, we're finally getting there, but like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they allow a bill to like non-lethal deterrence essentially for those things, and that sounds crazy, but like I could see it being successfully lobbied despite the whole AI scare because of how money speaks, right? You throw $1 billion or a few $1 billion at stuff like that, and then at a certain point, that becomes like something that the government would want to back because it improve efficiency, right? The cost of insurance for those things is probably way worse. But yeah. I mean, in terms of would I pass it, I could see myself doing it, but the only thing that would stop me is when it comes to any kind of law is the slippery slope, right? You always have to look at what the slippery slope is behind that law, and that is a slippery
Hear me
slope
out. Hear me out, Par.
afterwards. Yeah.
So in my fantasy world of, shark people attacking mankind, when it comes to the judicial system, I was thinking about, like, if I was the god of the world, I would employ one sentient immortal being that oversees every single, like, has the capacity to
I
oversee
know you
every
would.
single court case,
Yeah.
so that every answer would be based on their whim.
I knew. I mean, I was
So
gonna
that it
bring up
would, so that
earlier.
everything would be judged on a case by case basis. There would be no laws that hold them down. Like, oh yes, I see you're a bad guy, but thankfully in the year of 1922 there was a guy that had a similar case and it falls under that statute. Like, no, like, f that. Like, we're having some sentient gobbledygook wizard up in the sky and he's judging every single case himself. There's no jury because I think that's BS sometimes, depending on the
Yeah.
case. Like,
I you
nah,
brought it up in that
wizards are being
context.
deployed.
I
Albus Dumbledore, you're coming in.
I was gonna ask you when we are talking about like the cop stuff earlier. I forget what context. I was gonna ask like, do you think we should have AI replace cops? And like, because
I'd
that
say
is the
so.
slippery slope where it's like, yeah, you would need them to be able to enforce the law. I think you know me,
I
psychopaths.
think I think
We talked
AI
about
cops would
that.
probably do better.
I think AI cops and then human the judgment thing behind it.
It's
It,
like
it
Psychopaths.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
as dystopian as that was, I think that could be a good system. Because it's like, enforcing the law, you need to have like a blank slate going to every
Honestly,
single situation, but humans can't have that. It's impossible.
what is it called? The Dominator in Psychopaths? I think
Yeah.
that's what cops need.
Yeah, no, one
Like the dominant. If you guys don't watch that anime, which I hate that we keep on bringing it up, but
we need to do like a 50-50 site. I feel like that's core to
Psychopaths episode.
because that is one thing that connects both of us. One of like the first things that we're like, wait, do you watch Psychopath? And then
Psychopaths is
yeah,
good.
and then when we found out about that, we like went off like on a 6 hour call about that way back when.
So the Dominator in Psychopaths. I think it's called Dominatrix actually in Psychopaths. What it is,
Something like
it's a
that.
gun that all of the police officers in that world have,
Hmm.
but the gun, one minute it can be a non-lethal gun, like just like a rubber bullet, for example. The next minute it can be a taser, and the next minute it can be lethal. But what the gun does is that it changes what bullets it shoots based on the crime coefficient of the other person. So the cop themselves don't judge like, oh, this guy's a psychopath. The gun is able to read everything and like decipher what is the best means of force, right? So you'll never end up with like, unjust killings anymore. It will just be like, oh, this guy had a parking violation. Instead of shooting him, we shot him with like a rubber bullet and that was it. Or
Yeah.
we're not shooting him at all. Like, I feel like if we had that, everything would be so much easier.
Yeah, and like one of the cooler locking mechanisms was like you could only when a certain amount of force is brought upon you, then it unlocked the
Yeah, it
appropriate
unlocks the
force.
gun.
So unless you were met with a situation where a gun was necessary, it wouldn't unlock
It's
until that
sentient.
point,
It's a
right?
sentient gun.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
AI I think would be able to do that to a certain extent. It's just like there would need to be oversight, and in the show they had oversight for it, where there was enforcers and detectives, and the detectives
Yeah.
had more protocol over what they could choose to do, whereas the enforcers were they can only act on the gun. Like if they found themselves literally dying because the gun wouldn't unlock, like so be it, right? And there's a whole nuance as to why that was appropriate in the show, which
Yeah.
outside of which is honestly, the more you learn about our real world systems, especially in the United States, about it actually kind of fits in terms of the requirements in order to join the force in a lot of ways, which is a different entire conversation. But I almost feel like, yeah, maybe we should do like a Psycho-Pass thing, but I think they're about to go to like the fourth or fifth season, so
I hope
oh
so.
man.
It's a good anime, man. I need to
Yeah,
rewatch
that's one
that.
of my favorite.
It's one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
yeah, I want to rewatch it too. Oh
It's so
man, it's
good.
one of my favorites for sure. It's a really good concept if you guys are looking for something to watch. And with that, guys, I think that concludes whatever episode this is of the 50/50 podcast.
Hey, you guys know what's up.
Yeah.
50-50, start with genocide, end
Oh,
with what is it? Like serial killers and police guns.
yep. Fantasy,
Wild
fantasy
topics. Wild
enforcement.
topics.
You would not hear this breadth of conversation elsewhere on. Tell me another podcast that talks about this many things.
The Ballfinger podcast.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Sai. Thank you for those of you guys who know what that reference is. Sai
Ballfingers versus the world.
Sai's a man of the people. Sai's a man of the
Yes.
people is all I can say, right? Um, but yeah, definitely the comments that were requested, those will only help our discussions in the future. And looking forward to seeing you guys, or not seeing, seeing your responses. But on top of that, if you guys want to sign on to the podcast, the Spotify thing, and rate us so that we can take over the world as the 50/50 podcast, that we greatly appreciate that, right? Because only more fun can come out with more fame and fortune, right, Sai?
Yes. Imagine the day we're sponsored by Ballfingers.
Yeah. I don't know why you couldn't think of an actual sponsor, but yeah,
I
sponsored
thought of
by.
a couple, but it's like I don't want to throw out real sponsors, and then they're gonna be like, oh, Power Inside, nah.
Nah,
So we
yeah,
gotta
it'll
throw
be
Ballfingers out
embarrassing.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we,
know,
we gotta ruin their podcast.
yeah, 100%. Trying to think. Oh, we still need to come up with like a thing.
The
Oh,
Ballfingers jingle.
no, hold on. So with that, guys, wishing you the
Hey,
best,
look at that. He's blue balling you guys.
and sweet dreams, sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, guys.